San Diego, no warm-up needed. If it matters in this city, you're hearing about it right here.
The Michael King contract, super creative. I think it's a great win for the Padres.
Real opinions, real takes, no wasted time.
It has been the little things that have outdone San Diego State, and that's where they got to improve.
Live and local on 97.3 The Fan. The Braden Surprenant Show starts now.
What's up, San Diego, and a happy Friday to everybody out there in America's finest city. I'm Braden Surprenant. This is the Braden Surprenant Show, live and local each and every day from 10 to 2 on San Diego's number one sports station, 97.3 The Fans. Good to be with all of you today. We are getting ready to talk a lot of Padres baseball. We'll talk some World Cup today. Team USA today plays at 6 o'clock Pacific time. Don't let anything else fool you on that. Everybody says, like, oh, coverage starts at 6 o'clock Eastern time. 3 hours of World Cup coverage? Is that necessary? I mean, I understand to a degree. But to me, Frank, 3 hours of what was this? Well, I know it's kind of like the Super Bowl, but did we ever need that much coverage of one game? I mean, how much breaking down of USA Paraguay can you have for 3 hours?
There's nothing. I'm good with a half hour.
That's right.
Like I'm fine with a half hour.
Look, I got the Eco Water SoCal Padres pregame show today after this show. I mean, Gwen and Chris are going to come in for like an hour. I don't even know why. Maybe I should just do their show too. Just lock it in. Do a couple of shows today in a row. Just take over the airwaves for the next handful of hours. Could you imagine a 3-hour pregame show for a Padres game? Every single day? I mean, come on. What are they going to talk about for 3 hours? I mean, we have our preview for the World Cup. We have our update on the World Cup in the noon hour. Today, we're going to talk about Team USA. But we're going to listen to Lexi Lawless for 3 hours? Is that what we're going to do? It's going to be longer than the actual game. Sometimes it's just too much hype, Frank. It's too much hype sometimes.
Yeah, no, there's no reason for a 3-hour pregame show of anything. No. I don't care if it's the Super Bowl. There's only so much. There's only so much you can say. There's only so much nonsense that you can do. Like, I mean, that's it. Like, how much more? How
much can you hype this up?
Exactly, yes.
They do that for the Super Bowl all the time, and every time I go, like, what are we doing all this for? I mean, like, Radio Row's out there, it's like almost like 2 weeks. I was like, what are you talking about? For like 2 weeks? You had 2 weeks to prepare for the Super Bowl? Are you kidding me?
Like, I understand it's the last chance for teams to, like, for media to get in touch with players. I understand that it's I understand this if you want to do Team A one day, Team B the next day, you get a bunch of people who aren't normally around, like we had with Radio Row for Army Navy. That I understand, but for 2 weeks, come on.
I will say this for Army Navy: it's one day. At least it's one day. You know, like one day Radio Row is perfect. I don't know how many of these you need to do, but I can't, because I saw yesterday it was like, oh, game at 6 o'clock Eastern, and then you said 6 o'clock Pacific, and I was like, are you sure? And then it looked up, and then it was like, oh wait, coverage begins at 6 o'clock Eastern time. Could be a long day. College World Series about to get underway as well. Troy and West Virginia will start the weekend off for the College World Series. So we got a lot of great sports on over the weekend. We got a lot of great sports on today. A lot to talk about. Padres off day means you didn't really get to do a lot of different things, but you get to like watch Padres baseball. But at least you had some things on yesterday. Did you watch the South Korea Czechia?
That was
game?
A fantastic match. That was great. Czechia was very, very impressive in that first half, able to keep it close. South Korea had a lot of the possession, but when Czechia was attacking, they were very, very good. They really started to bend going into the half, but for them to pull out a 1-0 lead and almost be able to take a 2-1 lead before the goal was waved off. That was a very, very impressive impressive play out of Czechia last night.
And the other thing too is it was a quick turnaround because Czechia thought that they had just won, or at least got into a 2-1 lead, and then all of a sudden Korea scored almost instantly right after. And what a change of emotions from being up 2-1 in a World Cup game, in a game, by the way, that you're an underdog in. Czechia is the underdog in that particular case. I mean, we talked about it yesterday. A lot of reports and opinions of this tournament said Korea's got one of the best and most athletic teams in this year's field. And so if you're a Czechia and able to knock off South Korea, I mean, you're setting yourself up in a prime spot to potentially advance to the knockout round. Instead, you fall 2-1. And you know what? Korea and Mexico both win game one as expected. We'll get you a full recap of the World Cup in the noon hour with some highlights and everything like that.
And they play each other next. So that's the next match coming up on Wednesday is Korea-Mexico. So the winner of that match, most likely going to be the winner of the group.
It's going to be fun. I think for a lot of people, again, I know, like, I'm not a huge soccer guy, like definitely not super into soccer. But there's something different about the World Cup. We talked about it yesterday. It's fun to watch. You get to see all these, countries participating and it's just such a fun atmosphere. But, to me, I just, you can see it's just a different level of soccer. It's not like watching the MLS. It's not like watching college soccer in the United States. And for people that, might not be into the Premier League or whatever, and like any of those big leagues in Europe or overseas, I mean, this is one that you can, really follow and get behind because, you're used to, it's like watching the Olympics, right? But it's just like at a high stage. I mean, the playing surfaces have looked elite. The stadiums have looked awesome so far in Mexico. And now you get to see it for the first time with Team USA tonight. And this is a Team USA team that's very talented. They have World Cup experience. Oh, and by the way, they're all still under the age of 30. I mean, this might be one of the most talented teams Team USA has had in a long time, which bodes well for them hosting the World Cup. And I can't wait to see what Team USA does at 6:00. So we'll see how they go out and play tonight against Paraguay. Again, the Central American and South American countries, you're going to have some challenges with those teams. And this is a pool, Frank, for USA that all four of those countries you can make a legitimate case that they can advance to the knockout round. Yeah, for sure. And Bullet Motorsports in the chat, why do you keep calling it Czechia? Because that's the name of the country. It's not the Czech Republic anymore. It's Czechia now. I think it's Czechia.
Or Czechia.
I think it's Czechia.
Whichever. It's not the Czech Republic anymore.
It confuses me now because Czech Republic was so easy to say.
Yes.
You say Czechia. I've heard. I think it's Czechia. I think it's Czechia. I got that from somebody that was just there like a year ago. They're like, oh yeah, they're saying Czechia. So
Czechia.
We're gonna go with Czechia.
Yeah.
But
it's not the Czech Republic.
It's no longer the Czech Republic, but it's Czechia is the name of the country. So they you know what? I will say this: their defense looked pretty good last night. I know they gave up the two goals, but it seems very difficult. It seemed like it was very difficult for Korea last night to even get close to penetrating the goal. And what I thought was interesting, though, Frank, when Czechia had the 2-1 lead briefly, right? I mean, South Korea dominated the time of possession. They dominated the shots and the attacks on goal. I mean, they dominated every category you wanted to, yet they were sitting there potentially down 2-1 in the contest. But how about this? You almost had the two most popular. Did you hear this on Gwynn and Chris?
Mm-mm.
The two most popular scores in the World Cup. What are they? And World Cup, what are the two most popular scores?
I'm guessing 2-0 and 2-1.
Or 1-0 and 2-1.
Oh, well, there you go.
I mean, so like last night, I was just like, oh, is this going to end 1-0? And then they evened it, and then they had the equalizer, and then they went up 2-1. So anyway, it'll be a fun one tonight. Again, you can watch, it's going to watch the Padres right into the World Cup because we got an early Padre game today. We got a 4:05 start today.
Where are they?
Out in Birdland.
Hey, Birdland.
Did you see Juan in the YouTube chat?
Yes.
He's a little rough this morning, Birdland. Little rough this morning, Birdland. We lost Juan in the middle of the show because he went to a watch party to watch Mexico play. He's a little beat up today. All right. We're going to get into it. I know we had some people in the YouTube chat talk about it as we were watching the World Cup. And honestly, I watched a little bit of the college track finals yesterday as well. But as you try to find different things to watch, because it was a Padres off day on a Thursday. I know they need to have days off, but we seem to start our shows like this all the time. It's like, oh, what did everybody do last night? To me, I explored my new neighborhood for the first time, walked around, had dinner, watched the World Cup, watched a little bit of the track finals, and then my roommate. So I have given my roommate a lot of me and my other buddy have given my roommate a lot of heat for never watching the movie Rookie of the Year. Have you seen Rookie of the Year? The movie?
Yeah, of course I've seen Rookie of the Year.
Not the Rookie of the Year. The one Henry Rowan Gardner.
Yeah, Rosenbagger.
Rosenbusen.
Yeah, of course.
That's a great bit too, by the way. He just calls him by the different name every single time. Yeah, so he had never watched it before. It was way ahead of his time, but still.
But as a sports fan, how do you go this long without seeing that movie? It's on MLB Network every offseason.
It's on MLB Network every Sunday.
Yeah, exactly. Like
when they're not allowed to when they're not allowed to air baseball games, they put like Rookie of the Year on, and they put like Brewster's Millions on, another movie he's never seen, and they put on The Sandlot, and they put in. They put on the Bad News Bears, all that stuff. So we've been giving them a hard time for forever about never seeing it. In fact, we've sent like memes before of the movie and go like, oh, you wouldn't understand this anyway. You never saw it. So last night he said, you know what? Let's watch it. So I watched Rookie of the Year last night with him. That movie's hilarious.
That's fantastic.
It's a great but. He got a couple chuckles throughout the thing because my buddy was texting me. He's like, is he going to pull the whole like, oh, this is lame because it was from 1994, whatever, 1992, whatever it was. And I was like, I don't know. He's got a couple chuckles out of Brigma doing some dumb things. But I said, I think he seems a little locked in here. And at the end of the movie, I was like, well, how was it? So, yeah, it's all right. And I'm like, all right, context here. I watched that movie when I was like 6, and it was so cool to see like a kid play for the Cubs, right? Like when you're a kid, it's awesome. As I watched it as an adult in 2026, I'm just like, well,
this is ridiculous.
I mean,
what a concept!
It's a cute movie, right? It's not, it's not winning an Academy Award, right? So he tried to pull the whole like, yeah, it's okay, it's like,
are
come
you
on,
sure?
Man.
Gary Busey's performance as a rational, sane human being was actually rather
I'm glad
convincing.
You said it, not me. Remember when he was on The Apprentice?
Yes.
Oh my God, dude. I just was like, wow. But yeah, back when he was a saint. I mean, he looked like he was a little starting to, a little bit in that.
Yeah, we're talking about buttered sausage now.
But anyway, I thought I watched that last night. What did you do yesterday with no Padres game before we talk about this other thing?
I watched the World Cup and then about threw my computer out the window.
Why is that?
League race on iRacing drove me insane.
Were you broadcasting that, or were you actually racing?
I was competing in it.
How did you do?
Not good, Bob.
Not well. Did you rage quit, or?
I did, yes, and then I came back because I didn't want a DNF on my record, so I puttered around for the last 20 laps.
Did you come in last?
10th, actually.
Out of how many?
17.
All right.
I was in the top 5 before I got wrecked. And after all of the nonsense that had happened previous, it just all kind of spiraled. I had a meltdown and then calmed down for a couple seconds. Took a walk, calmed down. It was at Bristol, too, so
I did the other day I did probably one of the nerdiest things I've ever done. I took apart my PlayStation 2 that I had.
Yes, you were telling me about this.
I fixed it because I just moved, and I have kept a PlayStation 2 just to play classic games that no longer exist. And one of them is like NFL Street. Mm-hmm. One of them is college baseball, NCAA, or MVP baseball, NCAA 06.
Yes.
Right? I mean, like some of the games that they never make anymore. And that was clutch before they brought back college football, because I would play the last college football or the 2004 one with Carson Palmer on it. I would do that all the time. So I moved, I kept it, I brought it with me because I knew if I left it at my other place, it would have been thrown away. So I brought it. I tried to fire it up a couple of weeks ago, and it would go, it sounded like an engine revving. And I'm like, oh boy.
That ain't good.
Yeah, this can't be great. Here's the great thing about AI now. I can literally just punch all that stuff into AI, and they're like, oh, yeah, let's go search the internet for you. Here's what you got to do. So I took it apart, I cleaned it, and then I realized I needed a new power supply. I didn't know that was a thing. And I'm like, well, how easy is it to fix this? I found a YouTube video. A guy literally unplugs the power supply and plugs a new one in. And I was like, oh,
so difficult.
That seems pretty easy.
5-star difficulty.
How much do these cost? These probably cost a lot, right? It was like $15 on Amazon. And they had them like, oh, it could deliver to your house by the end of the day. I'm sorry. I know there's a lot of cool stuff on Amazon, right? That's like, oh, if you want some groceries, we can have it to you at the end of the day. Or like, oh, I need some command strips. Like they have it in stock. They have the PS2 power supply units just sitting around in a warehouse. They could give it to you that day.
So you're telling me I could play MLB Slugfest at like 9:00 tonight?
You can. Yeah, absolutely. Do you have an old PS2?
I don't anymore. I still have all my old games for it though.
Yeah. So anyway, I replaced the power supply, fired it up, worked perfectly. So yesterday, or a couple of days ago, I fired up NCAA 06, the college baseball 06. Let me tell you, I had to get used to the response time because it lags so much more than like current video games. And I was like, I was like waiting for the pitch to come in like an MLB The Show, because you're always super early in that game. And then I was just fanning on everything, just late. I had to get I had to get my timing down when it came to that game. There's so many cool games like that.
Did you call Aaron Judge's hitting coach?
No.
To figure that out?
I did not call Aaron Judge's hitting coach. So as we were all doing all of this stuff yesterday, and I'm sure all of you did some random things you haven't done. Maybe you and your wife went on a date for the first time in a long time. Okay. Hey, honey, it's okay. I'm going to miss the games tonight. Let's go get dinner.
I'm going to miss the game.
Yeah, exactly. That's the best time to do that. Yeah, you just, 100%. So while all of us were doing those things, because this is what our lives are without Padres baseball, we got an article yesterday from Kevin Acee about why Manny Machado had not been doing so well. Well, he went and saw a specialist, if you will, over the offseason. And all he's been doing is trying to revert himself back to old Manny Machado and kind of forget some of the things that he was told. We'll talk about it when we come back. Braden Surprenant Show, off and rolling on a Friday. Setting us on Sports Station 97 through the Fan.
The 2026 FIFA World Cup is almost here, and for the first time, 48 nations will battle for soccer's biggest prize. Spain enters as the favorite, riding a remarkable 28-match unbeaten streak and looking every bit like a championship team. France sits right behind them with stars like Kylian Mbappe and Dembele, while defending champions Argentina and Lionel Messi look to try to do it again for one final time. For American fans, all eyes will be on the United States, ranked 13th entering the tournament. The U.S. could either make its deepest World Cup run in modern history or struggle to survive the group stage. Watch out for dark horses like Senegal, Ecuador, Switzerland, and Japan, all capable of shocking the world on the biggest stage. The biggest question heading into kickoff: will a traditional giant lift the trophy, or will the expanded World Cup create the biggest upset in tournament history? The countdown to the biggest sporting event on the planet is almost over. It starts this Thursday, upcoming on Thursday. The 2026 FIFA World Cup is set to be the largest World Cup ever, expanding from 32 teams to 48 teams and bringing more nations than ever before onto soccer's biggest stage. With the tournament just around the corner, debates are heating up over who will lift the trophy and who could make a surprise run. Also, which traditional powers might be vulnerable in this year's tournament. A recent ranking of all 48 teams gives us a fascinating look as to how the world stacks up heading into kickoff. At the top of the rankings, of course, sits Spain. The reigning European champions enter the World Cup riding an incredible 28-match unbeaten streak and possesses perhaps one of the most balanced squads in the tournament. Young stars like Lamine Yamal have become one of the faces of world soccer, and if Spain remains healthy, many believe that they could be the team to beat. Right behind them, though, is France. They won this World Cup not that long ago. When you look at the talent that France has on their roster, it's almost unfair. Mbappe, Dembele, it's seemingly an endless supply of depth that makes France a legitimate title favorite once again, like they were 2 World Cups ago. Now the defending champions, Argentina. Lionel Messi returns for what could and should be his final World Cup appearance. Argentina still has plenty of stars from its magical run last year, including Julian Alvarez, Emiliano Martinez. The question isn't talent, it's health. If Lionel Messi and several stars can stay fit, Argentina absolutely has the ability to repeat as World Cup champions. Now, rounding out the top 5 are going to be England and the Netherlands. England enters with perhaps its best opportunity in decades. Harry Kane remains one of the world's top elite goal scorers, and under Thomas Tuchel, the new manager, championship level experience comes to this English side. Meanwhile, the Dutch side have quietly become one of the most consistent teams in international soccer since losing the Euros in 2024. And remember, it was 2010, if I remember correctly, they played Spain in the World Cup final. So they have been here before. They've finally gotten back with a bunch of retooled stars for the Dutch team. They are going to definitely be ones to watch. On the dark horse side, every World Cup produces a surprise team. This year, several nations fit that description. Switzerland, who we've seen here in San Diego, comes in at number 18 and might be the ultimate sleeper team for this tournament. They have favorable matchups, experience, and enough attacking talent to be able to make a serious run in the World Cup. Ecuador is ranked 10th and could be one of the most dangerous teams that nobody is talking about. Their roster is filled with young talent, elite defenders, and dynamic attackers capable of troubling any opponent that they may run into. Senegal sits 9th in the world and is viewed as Africa's best chance to make history. Their defense is among the strongest in the world, and they possess the athleticism and discipline needed to compete with the traditional powers. And also, don't overlook Japan. Japan comes in ranked 15th, and they've become the gold standard for Asian soccer and consistently punches above its weight class in tournaments. It wasn't but a few years ago that they were actually able to beat Germany in their group stage. So they have a very, very good squad always. Dude,
10:23 on a Friday. I'm Braden Surprenant. It's the Braden Surprenant Show. Standing as number one sports station, 97.3 The Fan. We are broadcasting live from the Bill House Studios. We know how. All of our guests join us on the SDCCU Fan Hotline. It's not Big Bang Banking. It's better. All right. Let's talk about what the article came out yesterday from Kevin Acee about Manny Machado. I thought it was a very good article. Very good insight into what has been going on with Manny this season. I really do. And with this, I don't know. I mean, it kind of explains to me what's been going on. But I had seen the rumors about this for the last couple of weeks, and I could not find the link between Manny Machado and the guy that was doing and the guy that's Aaron Judge's hitting coach, his private hitting coach. My computer's frozen, so that's fun. Anyway, in part of this article, it goes through a lot of different things. It goes through like Manny Machado was trying to unlock a different level going into the offseason. He wanted to be able to add to his game, so he went out and worked with Richard Shank. He is focused on staying back on the ball, coiling longer, and exploding late. You've seen some of his videos. He's doing like comes back and he leans and he like just does this, very non-traditional baseball swing. And whether or not you think that's a good idea or not, in terms of like his actual mechanics, I can't get mad at Manny Machado for seeking additional ways to improve his game. Right? Now, to me, based on the instruction that this guy does, I think it works for certain people and doesn't work for others. I think it really works for a guy who's gigantic like Aaron Judge. I don't necessarily know if it works for everybody. And I don't want to get into the weeds about the hitting philosophies and the hitting technique of this guy who is popular on social media, who some baseball people have gone to on this swing that he developed for his kid a long time ago. Like, I've heard college coaches say this guy's nonsense. I've heard other people go like, oh, he's kind of on something with the launch angle. But I mean, just it works for some, it doesn't work for others. But all we do know is, and he doesn't blame him for this. He repeats that multiple times in the article. But if you look at the stats, I mean, he's hitting 172, which is the worst among the qualifying players in Major League Baseball. He's 55 points below his prior worst mark at this point in the season. His OPS is 597, which is 150th in Major League Baseball. It's 80 points below prior worst. And versus fastballs in the zone, he's hitting 216 with a 423 slug, which is down sharply from a 319, 524 last season and a 311, 517 over the prior 5 years. Increased looking at heart of the zone fastballs, more misses and fouls on them, and the chase rate has spiked to 44% in his recent 11 games. Now, they talk about the offseason work with Richard Shank, which is Aaron Judge's hitting coach, in this article on how he does his swing. But with this, he's been consistently late on fastballs. His front side is leaking coming off the ball. He has timing disruption. Bat speed remains nearly identical to prior seasons, so that eliminates everybody that says the guy's cooked and he's old, which is, obviously rules out the pure age-related slowdown as the main culprit. And Manny Machado said this in the article: I'm leaking, I'm coming off the ball, it's hard for me to get back to my normal hand-eye. And so what he's been doing the last month and a half has been reversing the ingrained changes mid-season of what he was doing all offseason with Richard Shank to what he was doing for all these years prior to working with him. I mean, he's trying to do that in the middle of the season, which is very difficult to do in Major League Baseball, especially with daily performance pressure of, I'm still not hitting the ball. And a lot of the habits that he's trying to recreate might feel right even when they're wrong. Now, Manny's not blaming his offseason work. He is not blaming anybody but himself. He takes full ownership repeatedly. Just say I suck is what he said. No excuses for the mechanical work or anything else. He acknowledges that he's pressing, poor bases loaded at bats. He insists, though, the root of failing on pitches he's historically crushed is part of this pressing. He missed half a spring, obviously, because he's playing the WBC. Felt good, and then he didn't, which is the classic baseball volatility that you see all the time. He is optimistic long-term, so is the organization, because once it clicks, it's going to continue to stay there. And he goes, I have a track record. Goes back to the whole conversation about the back of the baseball card. And you know what? He's had a little bit of a hot streak in the process. He felt good for 1.5 weeks, but still seeking results. Now, the Padres have been dragged down by Machado's woes. He mentions that in the article. He is a high baseball IQ player who usually avoids overcomplicating things. He prefers the simple daily play. He plays every day. He likes keeping things simple. He likes keeping things, calm, cool, and collected. I think that's why a lot of people think he has this laissez-faire attitude. But I don't think it is a decline. I don't think a lot of people think it's a decline. But it's a fixable mechanical issue. My thing is, I think a lot of people, here's really the conversation, Frank, though, is are you upset that Manny Machado sought outside help to try to unlock a different level at this point in his career, regardless of who he ended up going to talk to? I honestly am not that upset about it, because everybody's like, oh, imagine how, this is how bad the hitting department is, where he's thinking outside. No, a lot of these guys have their own hitting coaches. It's like golf. A lot of guys have their own swing coaches. Most of these teams have, a lot of these guys have their own pitching coaches, have their own. Everybody works with other people during the offseason, and then in season, the hitting coach and the pitching coach is there to help you navigate lineups or help you navigate starting pitching if you're a hitter. So I'm not upset, Frank, that he went out and saw somebody else that he thought could unlock a gem. He tried. It didn't work out. Now he's got to backtrack on this a little bit, which stinks. I think a lot of people are upset because of the fact of the guy who he talked to. But to me, this is not a conversation about whether or not he should have talked to this guy. I think this is a conversation of whether or not he should have sought outside help if he wanted to. And I think the answer is, yeah, I think he should be allowed to do that. I don't mind that. And honestly, after reading this article, I could see why Manny Machado has struggled for the first 2 months of the year.
Yeah, for sure. You cannot be upset with somebody who's trying to better their game as they know that they're on the back end of their career. And that's not to say he's going to retire in a couple of years, because he's not good. He's still very high up the mountain. He's just on the back side of it. The only way you could be upset about it is if he goes to some voodoo medicine man kind of guy who.
There's a lot of people that think this guy is that.
But something that the entirety of the industry is aligned on. This guy is a quack. This guy is nonsense. This guy knows absolutely nothing about what he's talking about. They're not all aligned like that on this guy. There are some that say there's something to it. There's some, as you said, that think that he's nonsense. There's some that believe in him wholeheartedly. So there's not that unanimous negative opinion on that guy. That's the only way that you could be upset about it is if he goes to someone who the entire industry feels is out of his mind. Other than that, he's trying to get better. He's trying to unlock something, and now he's trying to undo everything that happened during the offseason. So it's a complete understanding now of why he's had this awful start, is because he's trying to undo something that he learned.
And you know what? I think when you see Aaron Judge put up the numbers that he puts up, you go, maybe he was able to do this in order, maybe this was able to get him to that level. But I feel like Aaron Judge is kind of the anomaly of this situation. It sounds like he works with 15 of the 15 Major League Baseball players, at least he did. Back in the day. I'm trying to find the list of players that he has worked with, but there's a lot of guys on there. It says he works with 15 other players besides Judge, including Cubs outfielder Ian Happ and Tigers outfielder Kerry Carpenter. Along with that, he has around 50 clients at the minor league and college baseball levels, though none of them are currently. This is written from a St. Louis Cardinals outlet. But anyway, it's not like Aaron Judge is his only guy. There's other people that use him, and use him as a teaching tool. I'm not upset that Manny trying to find a new, he's trying to make himself better, and it just didn't work out. I think this for everybody that wanted to blame Steven Souza Jr. for Manny's struggles, I think this is a way to say that it's not his fault, right?
Yeah.
No, maybe he noticed and he was like, "Hey, dude, you got to not do this anymore." Yeah,
I think this revelation now really is the key to understanding why there's a reason why he's having an uncharacteristically horrific season this year. And if this is what he tried to do, completely change his swing, I can't see anything other than this being the answer and this being the reason why.
Yeah. Caleb Durbin has worked with him before.
That's cool.
Is that a feather in the cap of this guy? I mean, how's Kerry Carpenter doing right now? I don't know. Is he doing well? Is he and Happ doing well? I mean, that article was written a couple of years ago. I aside from Aaron Judge, I really don't see too much of a success rate. And I honestly think it's because Aaron Judge is gigantic that this kind of technique works out.
Kerry Carpenter's hitting .237, 9 homers, 26 RBIs. Ian Happ, .231, 15 homers, 36 RBIs. Caleb Durbin.
Isn't Caleb Durbin doing terrible?
204, 3 homers, 25 RBIs.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, so he talks about like this flick hitting again. It's like he's just doing like this weird, like, I don't know. I've seen the videos before. I've watched it. I'm like, all right, let me see if I can do this outside. It's just it's a lot of moving parts, and to me, it's like, I don't know. I'm sure it's great for launch angle at this point. But anyway, I thought that article yesterday was interesting. It came out yesterday during an off day. Got to look into it a little bit. But I think a lot of people who continue to talk about Manny, I mean, I think a lot of people's biggest fear is that he's just aging so fast. But now after this article about him, trying to change his entire swing with this guy, it's not surprising to me that his results aren't very good, especially since all of his aging metrics check out. Joey Votto talked about it a little bit. We didn't play it yesterday. We're going to get to that when we come back. Hear what Joey Votto had to say about how he breaks down Manny Machado's swing as we continue on the Braden Surprenant Show, Standings Number Sports Station 97 through the Fan. 10:42 on a Friday. Braden Surprenant, Frank Marchese with the Braden Surprenant Show. San Diego's number one sports station, 97.3. The Fan lead you into a quick Gwynn and Chris, and then the EcoWater SoCal Padres pregame show with myself, Braden Surprenant, filling in for Sam Levitt. I will have the pre- and post-game show all weekend long. Looking forward to doing that in just a little bit. But we're going to talk a lot of Padres baseball today on the show. We'll dive into some World Cup stuff at noon. We'll hear from AJ Preller very shortly. He was on with Bennett Woods earlier today as part of our manager report. So we got a lot to get to on the show today. Some buy or sell later on. But yesterday, it's kind of interesting that this article came out, right? Because it was interesting to see like some of the struggles that Manny has gone through with trying to readjust to his swing, right? Readjust to his swing after getting some extra work in the offseason with a new hitting coach. Now, I don't think, and we've said it on the show, and we're going to continue to say it, I don't think like this is the Manny Machado is so old he can't play anymore argument. I honestly think it's a mechanical problem. We said the same thing about Fernando, and what's Fernando doing right now? Oh, I don't know. He's tearing the cover off the ball. He's got 2 home runs finally. He's hitting 280. So I think things are going to start to step in the right direction. And based on what a lot of people have watched out of Manny Machado, it doesn't seem like they think aging is the problem. In fact, Joey Votto, who had played baseball for a long time in Major League Baseball, was a pure hitter for the Cincinnati Reds, one of the best hitters in Major League Baseball history. He broke down Manny's swing on MLB Network earlier this week. Here's what Joey Votto had to say.
This year, hitting 171, even with a good walk rate, the on base is 253. Not a lot of power. OPS plus is 67. Age 33 season for Machado. What's your read on this?
I think every great player, and Manny is a great player, a future Hall of Fame player, possible 3,000 hits, possible 500 home runs. You know, at the very end of his career, he's going to be looked at as a very clear first ballot Hall of Famer. Every great player goes through a stretch where the spotlight is on them because of their performance. And oftentimes it doesn't happen in the back third of the season, the middle of the season. It happens at the very beginning of the season because you don't have that luxury of having a good start or a good first half where it shows up. And you can kind of tuck it away. You can tuck away the poor performance. I would imagine every great player has had, and even Manny included, has had this sort of 266 plate appearance snapshot tucked into the middle or the back of the season. There's 2 spotlight parts of the season. Obviously the playoffs, because that's tied to your legacy, and the very beginning of the season, because that's tied to how, you know, you show up and you're feeling about yourself that particular year, and the fans are saying, why don't you pick it up, especially if the team doesn't start off super hot and they can forget about your performance and focus on the team's performance. If you're the best player, which Manny is, if you're the most important offensive player, which Manny is, and you're not carrying that franchise, which he accepts that responsibility, he's going to catch a little bit more flack. That comes with our big contracts. That comes with the notoriety that someone at Manny's level is going to have to deal with. So, from my perspective, I remember Derek Jeter starting off one year. I think he had an identical start to Manny, and I just remembered he ran through first base hard. He played hard. He showed up every day. Manny's always going to show up. I mean, he's at almost 2,000 games played. If he ends up at 2,700, 3,000 games played, he'll be one of those guys that shows up and plays all the time. That's what he's going to do. And at the end of the season, if this is not his very best season, that doesn't necessarily mean it's a failure. It just means that it's another step along his Hall of Fame career.
No, you dealt with this once, right? Was it 2016? We had some
So, he goes into like his own experience and everything like that. But, a lot of this that Joey Votto said, Frank, is stuff that we've been saying for the last couple of weeks. I think when you look at it from a non-emotional standpoint, you would say that this is not something that's going to occur for a long period of time. And you got other pros that are watching him play and getting kind of the same reaction to it. And I think a lot of people agree that's mechanical. And then after the article yesterday, I mean, he's working on it to try to get back to the way he was playing. And it's hard to make those adjustments midseason. You even heard Joey Votto say it. When you're trying to put up results and change the way you mechanically swing, that's a lot of work for a guy that's struggling at the plate. We saw Xander Bogaerts go through that last year. We've seen Fernando go through it a little bit this year. And now Manny Machado is dealing with that same thing. And he spent the entire offseason trying to learn a brand new swing. And now he's trying to undo what he had done over the offseason.
Yeah, and again, like I said, it makes total sense now as to why he's had such an exponentially bad season as compared to the rest of his career. It's something new. There was a new thing added to the equation that he's realizing is not going to work. So now he's trying to undo it, and it's not as easy as just swing the way you used to, forehead. It's not that simple. There are ways, there are techniques, there are timing mechanics that you need to work through and that you need to get down, and you need to remind yourself, because if you don't feel right doing one thing, then the rest of the mechanism gets thrown off. So he's trying to get back to the way that he was and the way that he used to be. And he's trying, because you're not going to go to a guy like that to change your swing entirely for you to just abandon it and not take it seriously. So he really spent time to ingrain it into his swing to where it became muscle memory for him. And he's going through the process of, okay, that really has not worked. Now I got to try to kick these habits and retrain myself to get back to the way it was, and not necessarily just go with what used to feel comfortable, because it may not feel comfortable anymore. It may feel like he's trying to work back into something. So yeah, it's really telling, that article that came out, as far as what has happened to Manny over the course of this season. I think Joey Votto put some perspective into it as a guy who has played at that level and is was star level, somewhat equivalent to Manny, going through the same exact thing.
So, I had somebody reach out not too long ago who, works in another MLB organization and ran the numbers on Manny Machado. And there's some interesting things that come up. And he's a guy that knows how to interpret this data. But, he said that Manny's bat speed is down 2 miles an hour on average this season, which, by the way, as he says, equates to about 14 feet of additional ball flight on fly balls. It's very significant. So all the balls that are just in front of the warning track would have been gone last year based on his bat speed. But he believes the biggest thing that is slowing his bat speed is he's catching the balls around 5 to 6 inches deeper than he has in the past. And the deeper that you catch the ball, the slower the bat speed, right? You can't generate as much bat speed in that amount of time if you're catching the ball deeper, right? Because the bat speed ends once you make contact, okay? So if he's catching it deeper, yeah, of course his bat speed is a little bit lower.
Yeah,
and who else?
There's less time for that speed to generate.
Who else was doing that? Fernando.
Mm-hmm.
So the deeper you catch the ball, the slower the bat speed, and vice versa. So it's part of the reason why it's easiest to hit home runs on the pull side, because you can generate more bat speed. Bat speed is incredibly dependent on point of contact. And he is also, this is the other thing that they found, also, he is not swinging at balls in the heart of the plate nearly as much as he has in the past. According to the data, he used to swing at 80% of balls in the heart, whereas this year he's only swinging at 72%, which is a huge difference. But essentially what he's saying is He's not swinging as much at balls he can crush, and when he is, he's catching them significantly deeper, just like Tatis, over the plate, which is affecting his ball flight and his bat speed. It's partly bat speed, but in this guy's opinion, it's more contact point and decision-making that is the problem, and that is stuff that you have to work on, and that is stuff that is hard to apply in Major League Baseball games, Frank. So the more you break down some of these, and again, these are analytics, right, that help a player out. You know, Manny doesn't like analytics. This is the information like the coaches are getting, and probably the information that they are trying to find a way that to instill that into a lot of their players, because, you know, Fernando was catching the ball incredibly late too. I mean, they always say they can let the ball get deep when you want to get out of a slump so you can start hitting the ball the other way. It's probably a big reason why Manny swing speed is down. It's probably a big reason why he is also not hitting as well as he was in the past. So even though his swing speed is 2 miles an hour slower than it's been in the past, a lot of that has to do with point of contact. And right now he's catching the ball super deep on the pitch and not out in front, so he can't generate enough speed, and he's losing about 14 to 15 feet of distance every time he does that.
Daniel Kirkpatrick in the chat, did our whole team go and work with this guy?
I don't think so.
There are some people who I'm sure are going to be curious about what this guy is teaching. May have asked Manny, hey, what did this guy show you? Manny probably showed them, and maybe under their own volition tried to implement some of it into their swing. So it's all about, if you think, especially in professional sports, if you think that there is something that can give you a competitive advantage over the other guy, you're going to at least attempt to do it. And as somebody else in the chat referenced, how long has he been trying to break out of this? We don't know. Only Manny knows when he said, all right, done. Let's try to revert back. So it may have just been a case of, it may be a case of this team's just having a bad offensive year, and that's just the way it is, or it's like trickled down. Manny was asked, showed someone, they tried to implement it, and it just didn't work.
Well,
it could have been. That's a plausible theory.
I think it's more the fact that Manny offense and their lack thereof really brings the entire everybody else's offense down a little bit. But I think it's some interesting stuff. I think it was an interesting article yesterday. AJ Preller was asked about this from Ben and Woods. We're going to get to what AJ Preller also said when we come back in the 11 o'clock hour. $11 o'clock on the Braden Surprenant Show. We're here on a Friday, getting ready for Padres baseball. Good and Chris will be on after us for a short bit. Then I'll be back for the EcoWater SoCal Padres pregame show. Padres and Orioles. We'll get to more of that later on in the show. I want to make it clear on this Manny Machado hitting thing. Like, most Major League Baseball players, a lot of them have their own private hitting and pitching coaches that are not affiliated with organizations. Right, Frank? I mean, that's how this is. So I wouldn't look at this as, oh, the Padres hitting department is so bad that Manny's got to go seek outside help. No, that's not what this is. Manny Machado wanted to enhance his game a little bit, search for a coach that could potentially do that, and it didn't work out. That's how we see this story going. I don't see this as, oh, the Padres offensive department, hitting department is so bad that Manny had to go find some guy on TikTok to teach him how to swing. That's not how I view this at all. Not at all. And the reality is that's how a lot of these organizations are. There are players that go seek out other hitting coaches, or should I say their own hitting coaches. And then they stick with those guys for every organization that they go to. That's very common in Major League Baseball. You see the same thing in pitching. Tom House is out here in San Diego. There's pitchers all over the place that work with Tom House. And they've been working with him for years. Tom House is affiliated with anybody. Is that because those players, pitching coaches, are not good enough for them? No, they have their own pitching coaches. They have their own hitting coaches. It's very common in Major League Baseball.
Yeah, it could be an industry guru. It could be a former high school coach or a former college coach or something, or for an international player, somebody from their home, one of their, like, just say Dominican All-Star League, whatever pipeline deals they have. It could just be one of them, somebody that they trust that's going to give them the answers that they need to hear and that they will respond to. And when I say answers that they need to hear, I don't mean lying to them. I mean, like, oh, well, the hitting coach with the team isn't seeing this, but this is something that you've seen. Keith Hernandez, who was just here broadcasting with the Mets, my grandfather always told the story about whenever he was in a slump, he would call his dad. And his dad would always tell him, oh, you're standing too close to the plate now. You've backed up a step or two. You're up in the box from where you used to be. And when he would do that, he'd snap out of it. There are just some people that know your swing, that see it, that just have this innate ability to be able to communicate with you in a way that it clicks and stays, that sometimes the team's hitting coach just does not have.
I think it's more of, again, like you said, and how I've said it, it's been mostly Manny going out to seek additional help, and I'm totally fine with that. What does AJ Preller think? Well, he was part of the manager's report today with Ben and Woods. It's brought to you by SDCCU. It's not big bank banking. It's better. And we have a list of different things on there that we want to talk about. But since we're on the subject of the matter, let's get to this one first. And it's about, how he views his players working with personal coaches.
Yeah, we haven't had a ton of that, honestly. I mean, I hear that from other GMs or other teams in the game and other hitting programs where that's a real big factor where, guys like similar going to a shot doctor or in golf, you go to, your swing coach. We haven't had a ton of that over the years here, honestly. I mean, I think our group has kind of stuck with our players have stuck with the hitting coaches that we have in our system. But, I think the biggest thing for us is like if a player wants to do it, hopefully there's communication back and forth. And there was in the case of Manny, and I think in, for Manny, it's, like you mentioned, he's obviously been one of the most consistent players in baseball. That's why he's on a track to Cooperstown. But seeing somebody that wants to improve and just wants to continue to get better, and is there another step here? And then, I think having that communication with your hitting group to make sure that, hey, we're not doing something that we feel like might be, something that doesn't quite get you on that track and doesn't improve. So, it's kind of, again, you got to listen to the players. You got to have a back and forth. And, there's been times where we've told guys, yeah, we don't really think that, whether it's a development center, like a training program for the off season, from a conditioning standpoint, that may not be the best plan for you. We've had some guys that have gone to Driveline, had some guys that have, that go to Maven. I think it's just like having that communication and then making sure that we're all on the same page. That's what we try to do as an organization. And then, hopefully just best information wins, and hopefully it results in performance. And if it doesn't, then we go back and make some adjustments.
I think that's the best answer you can give right there for AJ Preller. I mean, you're trying to get you're trying to have your players get to the best level of themselves you possibly can. And that might involve getting outside coaching. And here's the other thing too. Certain coaches work for certain players, and that doesn't mean like what one coach tells you. Like it's hard to coach a group of people that come from a lot of different demographics and all over the place. It's hard to relate sometimes to every single player, and some players are going to pick up everything you say, and some players are going to have no idea what you're talking about. I mean, these are conversations that happen all the time. So as a Major League Baseball team, you're never going to hire one coach to be your hitting coach that's going to be able to connect and get his point across to every player on the team. It's impossible. So if you add some outside guys or let them go to other entities, it could be a benefit. And I think that's the case for the Padres and how they view it and why they don't mind guys seeking outside help. But here's the thing. It doesn't mean it's going to work every time, right? And this is an instance, Frank, where it didn't work.
No, exactly. That's exactly what I said before we played the clip, is that there are some guys that you're able to talk to that may be outside of your organization, that when they tell you what you need to do, it just clicks better. They understand what you need to hear in order for you to be able to take that information in and Manny tried something. It didn't work. Good on him for recognizing that it didn't work and now trying to adjust back to what he used to do. Because that's also another part of this. He could have just tried to force it to work because he could have looked at Aaron Judge. Well, Aaron Judge is hitting 90 home runs this season, so it'll work for me. I can do what he does. He could have really dug his heels in and tried to force it to work, but he said, "You know what? This ain't working for me. Let's revert back to what we were doing before."
Interesting roster move the Padres just made. And I do want to get back to AJ Preller here in a second, but since it just went down 22 seconds ago, we were discussing what the Padres are going to do, and based on because Xander Bogaerts is back from the paternity list, and they brought up Will Wagner, and they brought up Samad Taylor and Jace Bowen, and Sungmoon Song as a backup infielder.
Wow!
And it was what do you think the Padres could potentially do? I thought this had a possibility of happening, but I wasn't too sure. Honestly, I mean, I think the way Will Wagner had been playing, it's like he's the hot hand. You got to kind of keep him part of the organization. I don't think it was time to send Samad Taylor back. I mean, you got to see what you got with Jace Bowen, but the Padres have designated Bryce Johnson for assignment and have reinstated Xander Bogaerts from the paternity list. So a little surprising, but not that shocking, if you will, on this roster move. I mean, I thought today would have been like Will Wagner gets sent back down to AAA, but the guy's been playing pretty well. And you know what, Frank, they're really going with the youth. And like we said before, when it came down to the situation with Nick Castellanos, it was, what does Nick Castellanos do that these young guys can't do? And honestly, what is Bryce Johnson doing that these young guys can't do themselves?
Yeah, and that was one of the big saving graces with Bryce Johnson, was that he was speed off the bench. Now you have Samad Taylor, who does pretty much the same thing. He's been playing very, very well defensively. He has been that lightning in a bottle that you were hoping to find. And a week of Jace Bowen is not enough. Week and a half of Jace Bowen is not enough. And the way Will Wagner was hitting in these last couple of days, I think he's hitting 500, maybe a little bit above that. Over these couple of days, you can't justify bringing him down when no one else on the team is hitting. So yeah, unfortunately, Bryce Johnson, the one to go.
So far, and here's the other thing too, I mean, Nick Castellanos hadn't got picked up by anybody, right?
No.
How long do you got? You got 4 days or something like that? You got a handful of days?
I think everyone has to have a crack, and I think
they go through the waiver order, but it's about a week, and then after that,
a week, I think.
You usually get the announcement from the Padres going oh, he cleared waivers and he's been outrighted, or he elected free agency. So we haven't seen that yet, but we haven't seen anybody pick up Nick Castellanos. And now you have Bryce Johnson. I mean, Bryce Johnson, 178 average, he has 8 hits and 45 at-bats. I know he can play defense, but right now, so far, they've kicked the can down the road for a lot of players and trying to keep as many in part of the organization. And to me, the two guys that they have ended up DFAing have been guys that I don't think are going to get picked up. I wouldn't be surprised if Bryce Johnson's in El Paso in about a week and a half.
I wouldn't either.
Right. So at this point, I don't think that's going to be. I think that's a player that could potentially be back in this organization. If not, well, thanks for last year. But overall, he hadn't been playing well enough to just be worried about him potentially, getting picked up by somebody and hurting you, right? And you know what? Samad Taylor has shown that he could play a very impressive defense in the outfield, and he could be an outfield replacement. And that's kind of what Bryce Johnson's role was. And right now, Samad Taylor's hitting a lot better than Bryce Johnson. So, how many outfield backups are you going to carry on this team? Right?
Yeah.
So I'm not overly surprised by that. When we come back, we'll talk more about the roster move, but we'll also hear from AJ Preller some more. He's got some other thoughts that he had with the morning show. We'll get to that when we come back on the Braden Surprenant Show. San Diego Sports Station 97 through the Fan.
Denny Hamlin just pulled off one of the most impressive wins of the NASCAR season. After winning pole at Michigan, Hamlin was forced to start dead last because of unapproved adjustments to his car. Most drivers would be fighting just to finish in the top 10. Instead, Hamlin drove all the way through the field, took the lead late, and won by more than 11 seconds. The victory was his 63rd career Cup Series victory, tying him with the late Kyle Busch for 9th on NASCAR's all-time wins list. After the race, Hamlin honored Busch by carrying a tribute flag during his victory celebration, creating one of the most emotional moments of the season. The win also tightened the championship race dramatically as Tyler Reddick suffered his first DNF of the season, cutting his points lead to Denny Hamlin from 97 points to just 51. With 11 races left before the playoffs, the championship fight is officially on, and if Hamlin keeps driving like this, the rest of the NASCAR garage should be very, very concerned. Denny Hamlin charged from last to first for the second week in a row. The biggest story of the weekend came from Michigan International Speedway, where veteran Denny Hamlin delivered one of the most impressive performances of the season. After winning pole, Hamlin was forced to start from the rear of the field due to an unapproved adjustment made to his car after qualifying. Early on, it appeared as though the task might be a bit too much, as he spent most of the opening stage mired in traffic. But through small adjustments and elite long-run speed, Hamlin steadily worked his way through the field. By the final stage, no one could match what the number 11 Toyota team was doing. Hamlin led the final 39 laps and cruised to his third victory of the season, winning by more than 11 seconds. The triumph marked his 63rd victory of his NASCAR Cup Series career, tying him with the late Kyle Busch for 9th on the all-time wins list, a record that Kyle said earlier this season Denny Hamlin would most likely eclipse during this season. The victory carried extra emotion as Hamlin celebrated with a Kyle Busch tribute flag, very much like what Jeff Gordon did at Phoenix in 2008 with a Dale Earnhardt flag after he won the race there, honoring his former teammate following Busch's passing just a few weeks ago. Michigan had a lot of playoff and championship implications this season. Michigan also brought major movement in the championship standings. Championship leader Tyler Reddick suffered his first DNF, did not finish, of the season after being collected in a multi-car accident, while Hamlin capitalized with the victory. Hamlin was also involved in that wreck. He just did not get any damage to his car. As a result, Hamlin cut Reddick's championship lead from 79 points to 51 with just 11 races remaining before the playoffs. That's still a full race plus coverage for Tyler Reddick, but he went into that race with 2 races plus worth of coverage. Now it's just 1, and that means a heck of a lot. The playoff bubble is also tightening dramatically as only 26 points separate Shane Van Gisbergen in 14th place from Joey Logano, who is in 17th, making every point critical moving forward. Coming out of this race, it was a race of attrition, and you saw it early. 11 caution flags. This was the most that the track has ever seen in one race. A 20-minute red flag after a very, very hard impact by Christopher Bell and Chase Elliott with about 50 laps to go that actually broke the safer barrier. So the red flag was to repair the damage to that barrier, pull the steel part of the wall out, and replace the styrofoam blocks behind the wall, stuff you will see coming up in San Diego in a couple of weeks. Multiple multi-car crashes all throughout. Major incidents involving Chase Elliott and Christopher Bell, as I mentioned before, battling for second. That's the one that broke the wall. In the end, patience and experience proved to be just as important as speed. For the Craftsman Truck Series with the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series off this week, the Craftsman Truck Series, Corey Heim continued his dominant 2026 season with a dramatic victory in the Truck Series at Michigan. The reigning series champion held off teammate Caden Honeycutt in a thrilling last lap battle, winning by just 65 hundredths of a second. So very, very close finish. The victory was Heim's 26th career win in the Craftsman Truck Series, and added yet another track to his growing list of successes. Heim has now won at 22 different racetracks in the Craftsman Truck Series, something that only Ron Hornaday Jr. can say in the series. This win comes just 1 week after Corey Heim announced that he will join the Cup Series.
11:18 on a Friday. Padres got the Orioles this weekend. We got soccer World Cup going on as they get ready for Canada and Bosnia-Herzegovina. Will be the first game of the day in the World Cup. Team USA will play Paraguay later on this evening at 6 o'clock. Padres and Orioles will be at 4:05 today. I will have the Eco Water SoCal Padres pregame show coming up in just a little bit at 3:05. Gwen and Chris will be on after us for about an hour today, and then I'll step back into the studio and do the pregame show. Now, we do want to talk a little bit more about what AJ Preller said on the manager report earlier today on Ben and Woods. Talked a lot about Manny Machado and his swing and everything like that. But after the roster move, again, if you're just tuning in, the Padres have designated Bryce Johnson for assignment with Xander Bogaerts now coming off the paternity list. So Padres made the roster move they needed today. So Bryce Johnson designated for assignment, and they have reinstated Xander Bogaerts from the paternity list. We'll talk more about that later on. Let's get back to what AJ Preller was talking about. Overall thoughts on the team's recent play. It started to improve a little bit after probably 2.5 rough weeks there for a while. Here's what AJ Preller said about the thoughts on the team's play.
Obviously it's kind of been that, both months. I think the first month, getting some big hits, and even though the offense wasn't really clicking, we were finding ways to win games, and really, really performing well in the big spot, and that got us off to a good start and kind of at least put us in a position now where where the rest of the season have a chance to go make the playoffs. And then this month, really haven't, we haven't really clicked at all really on any cylinder, in terms of, the big spot, clutch moments. And then, all year long, we just have underperformed as an offense, like overall. So it's, it's obviously top of mind for everybody. It's, something that, we know that, if we're going to get to where we want to get to and get back to the playoffs in October, we've got to get a lot better. Again, like I think you see from everybody, there's no talk here about like, hey, this is just part of baseball, or this is, back of the baseball card. We know we've got to get better as a group offensively overall, whether that's personnel, whether that's, mindset, whether that's approach. It's a daily conversation for our group. And, I think we saw a little bit better here over the last homestand, and in the last few days, we started swinging the bats better. We understand that's what we're going to have to do if we want to get back to October.
They have to swing the bats better, and hopefully some of these guys are starting to turn around a little bit. I think we saw it with Jackson Merrill. I think we've definitely seen it with Fernando. And after the article yesterday from Manny Machado, we'll see if he makes some improvements here. He was asked about recent roster moves, obviously with a lot of young guys coming up. This is not going to answer or address the Bryce Johnson situation, obviously, because that happened just moments ago. But here's what AJ Preller had to say about the recent roster moves.
Yeah, I mean, I think again, when things we're obviously not performing at the clip that we're used to or want to perform at. So I think that leads us to be open to see what else is out there and other guys in our own system. And I think, part of that's injury, and then a bigger part of that is, just trying to add some athleticism, try to do some things a different way. And that's where like Taylor and Bowen coming up, Will Wagner, this last week. I think we understand, getting a left-handed bat and Will that, can give us a little different look and quality ABs. And then, what Samad and Bowen brought, to us with the ability to, move the baseball, play fast, play good defense, And then obviously Samad got some huge hits on this homestand. And those guys, they work really hard. They were doing well in AAA when we called down to Pete Zamora and his staff. They kept bringing up all three of those names as guys that they think can help us. And again, like, we're not going to hesitate if we don't feel like we're getting what we need at the big league level from the overall offense. We're going to look at some ways to jumpstart it, and those guys did a good job here the last few days of doing that, understanding their role, and helping to get us into a better spot to score some more runs.
With all of that being said, does AJ Preller think he has the right roster right now?
Yeah, I mean, I think for us, it is a lot of focus on what we're doing from a prep standpoint, the communication. I think the biggest thing we've been focused on with our group, and I think for Steven and the hitting group, is just providing clarity and giving things as clear as possible. And I think what we've tried to do over the last, again, not reacting to 30 days. I think when we talked, a few weeks ago, that's probably a little too early in the season. We've kind of talked about that at different times. It's like, hey, what's too early? What's too much? That's always kind of the dance in baseball. I think now we've got like a healthy enough sample size to kind of look back and be like, all right, we need to go ahead and make a few adjustments on what we're doing and how we're doing it. And I think we come back to all the time of, just being like really clear in our communication, finding out from our players what's working in their mind, finding out from our staff what's working, and then, just trying to simplify things in terms of being really clear about what the game calls for and what individual players call for. So I think the challenge, again, like on the offensive end, is it's not like a one philosophy or one issue or one solution for the entire team. You can go into a matchup and go, man, like, why are they chasing this pitch, or why do we swing here, or man on third base in less than two. How do you get the offense tuned up from that standpoint? So I think the challenge that we've got to get right is there's individual adjustments that need to be made, and having those conversations, and also that group mindset that Craig and Steven are responsible for, and making sure we get that right. And I think in both cases, it's been like really specific on the individual, things that need to be worked on, and having good game plans in place for that. And then, the group mindset has been pretty simple there. And I think our messaging has just gotten a little more clear over the last, week, 10 days, being pretty simple with the group and some of the new players that are here. And I think that's what we focused on with Steven and his team. And again, it's not just Steven. We've had hitting coaches here that have a lot of history with Jackson and Fernando and Manny specifically, and have done some really good work with those guys. And those guys have they've had a lot of results. And we just got to get back to that and get to a spot where we're scoring more runs and put more pressure and be more consistent with our offensive ability.
AJ Preller on with the morning show earlier today as part of our Manager's Reports, brought to you by SDCCU. It's not big bank banking, it's better. A couple more injury update. I mean, obviously there's a lot of injuries out there for the Padres. How the throwing program's going. Where's Luis Camposano at? The morning show asked AJ Preller for a full injury update.
Yeah, no, it's. I mean, every team deals with it these days, in all sports really, and definitely in baseball. Unfortunately, we've gotten used to it where, you kind of start the year and, you're hey, we're going to be out a bunch of these players on the offensive end at some point, or some of the pitchers, and kind of how do you handle it as an organization? That's a big part of getting to a playoff run. I think, in terms of the updates, with Crony, he got back to doing baseball activities, been on the field, he's been running and swinging and feeling better overall, but still not at a point yet where he's ready to progress to live at bats. And hopefully we start seeing that more here in the next week or so. But on the concussions, it's just it's a serious deal, and it's also something that you've got to you just gotta take case by case, and each guy's a little bit different. So it's good to see Crony back on the field, back swinging a bat and getting closer. But it's not like, hey, over the course of the next few days he'll be back on this road trip where we're probably not feeling that. With Joe and Nick, those guys are starting to play catch and starting to progress, and we've kind of always looked at it as it was going to be more July for those guys, and that's the time frame that they're on. So I think we'll start to know more when they ramp up past, from the point of playing catch and now they get on the mound. And we've seen this with guys in the past that, until they really get on a mound, are able to, to throw a ball 90 plus miles an hour in a game type situation, and then come back and do it again in 5 days. Those guys are feeling well and doing well in all the testing that we put them through and in this initial stage of throwing. But you got to really see those guys when they get on the mound and how they bounce back from that. Others like Campy, Herman Marquez, Matt Waldron, they're all starting to get back on the field, rehab, live VPs. So, I think those guys have a chance to come back here sooner rather than later. So it's, that's kind of the nature of it here. So in pro sports and in baseball right now is got to deal with a lot of injuries. And, again, I think for all of those guys, there's an expectation they'll be back, this season, hopefully sooner rather than later, but they're all in some different time frames.
Full injury update from AJ Preller. Last thing, and I think this is interesting. What has to happen for AJ Preller to be a seller at the deadline? Interesting question for the morning show.
We're open. I think you want to evaluate your team and be realistic to kind of where things are at. And again, I think what we've seen so far is that the National League is going to be very, very competitive. It's been that way really over the last 5+ years, but definitely in the last 2 seasons. And I think no doubt, no different this year. And it feels like even more teams obviously are in it. And you see the ups and downs of some teams so far, us included here in this first half. And, it feels like it's going to be a very, very competitive National League. It doesn't feel like, again, I think most things really don't get started until after July. So I've seen some of the conversation about, hey, to me, the trade deadline. I think it's still kind of teams are evaluating. Everything's going to be pretty close. You look at the American League and, you can be 6-7 under 500 in the American League, but only 2-3 games out of a wild card. So teams, they're not really looking to sell or do anything or kind of announce themselves as buyers or sellers right now. So I think basically for us, it's kind of continue to look at ways to get better as a group internally. There may be some small moves that start to be made. Some of the things that we did here this past week in terms of looking at AAA or some small trades that could be there. But I think overall for us, it's get to July, and then you'll kind of have a better feel of where we're at. And, at that point in time, you go ahead and make moves that you feel like, that fit where we're at as a team and organization and go from there. And hopefully it's a team that continues to be competitive, and we're looking to add to it here in a month or so.
I just think that's AJ Preller on with the morning show earlier today. I mean, with the draft moving back further, it just feels like most teams are locked in on the draft and trying to figure out what they still have. So you don't see any early trades anymore. And maybe it's just because AJ Preller's made a couple early trades, not a ton. And you see a little bit more, I feel like you've seen a lot more rumors, and we're going to get to some of these rumors in the 1:00 hour because there have been a lot out there, and when there's smoke, there's fire. These reporters aren't just making things up for the sake of making things up. These are things that they hear and they kind of put things together for some of these trades. So where there's smoke, there's fire. But I feel like a couple of things have pushed back the trade rumor season. One, I think, is the draft now being later in the year, which I honestly am not opposed to that. I don't know why you would be doing a MLB draft in the middle of the College World Series or during the postseason. It didn't make any sense to me. I didn't get it. So I don't mind that they pushed that part back. But the other thing I feel like has pushed back the rumors of trade deadlines is the balanced schedule now, because I feel like a lot of teams are just playing around the same. I think there's this early in the season, there's still a lot of teams in the expansion of the playoff. I just think there's a lot of teams that are still in it that want to evaluate what they have in particular. So I think it's interesting to see how these happen. I mean, I go to MLB.com to kind of look at the standings, and the first thing that's on there is 9 potential trade candidates on the rise with deadline on the horizon. I mean, we're starting to get into trade deadline rumors part of the season, but I think AJ is just starting to stoke the fires a little bit. And we'll see what the Padres do this trade deadline. But they got to put themselves in a position to be for sure buyers at the deadline. I would imagine they are going to be, but they need to play a little bit better baseball here, and especially on this road trip. It's a very important road trip for the Padres. That starts tonight at 4:05. When we come back, we got an update on some of the labor negotiations. Jeff Passan tried to write a little bit more about the comparison to other leagues. Plus, we got to get to our sports thread. So much more to get to on the Braden Surprenant Show. Stay over at Sports Station 97 through the Fan. Broadcasting live from the Bill House Studios. We know how. He's Frank Marchese. I'm Braden Surprenant. It's the Braden Surprenant Show, setting his urban sports station, 97.3 The Fan. Good to be with all of you today on a Friday. Getting ready for Padres baseball coming up at 4:05 p.m. Pacific time. EcoWater SoCal Padres pregame show with yours truly at 3:05. Gwen and Chris will be on after us for about an hour, and then I will be jumping back in studio get you the EcoWater SoCal Padres pregame show and the Hamul Casino Resort postgame show as well. Should be a fun time today. All right, let's talk about real quick some of this labor stuff. We're going to get into what Jeff Passan said later on in the show. We also have a buy or sell today on 2026 MLB disappointments. Whether or not we think they're actual disappointments or if they're going to continue that or if they're going to bounce back out of said disappointing starts. But the new CBA could eliminate regional blackouts. And this is what I'm talking about a little bit more detail. We had a little bit of time to talk about this here before we get to the sports thread today. And blackouts are defined obviously as primarily local in-market games on MLB.tv. Out-of-market works fine with MLB.tv, but it's the in-market requirements of RSN and cable or team-specific streaming, which is now available for all 30 teams. Now, national games are a separate category. They have exclusive windows on big networks and services. These are expanding and aren't going away. Rob Manfred downplays them as discoverability issues rather than blackouts. Sure. In terms of the owner's leverage here, proposal of their CBA that they threw out there bundles blackout relief with salary cap and revenue sharing. Players have pushed back saying aspects of media don't involve us. But for the fans, potential for easier access long-term, but short-term messiness and more national exclusives for ongoing subscriptions and frustration. Iowa, for example, have 6 teams in market. And they have 6 teams that get blacked out every single time, which is obviously a tough market to watch baseball. But they're trying to find, they have to continue to try to find, Major League Baseball does, areas to try to grow their game. A new CBA target of 2027. Full blackout ends, not necessarily immediate, but more national games maybe in 2029 plus. In terms of the economic driver of this, declining local TV money, push for centralization helps small markets, and big markets are willing to share more when it comes to this potential problem that they want to address. But when they want to pool the TV revenue and make a centralized TV network, or not really network, but centralized TV deal, yes, the national broadcasts are still going to be national broadcasts, but it's going to in turn create a situation where they eliminate a lot of these local RSN blackouts, and you'd be able to actually just pay for potentially MLB.tv and be able to get all the games and not get blacked out locally. That's what under this new under the owner's proposal of the CBA. So Frank, a little bit of dangling of the carrot, maybe to try to get more fans on board, but also at the same time, Major League Baseball needs to find a way to eliminate a lot of blackouts, because they got to try to grow their game as best as possible. And we talk about it with the MLS all the time. You know, it's hard to grow the game when it's behind a paywall for Apple TV. Major League Baseball can't find themselves in that situation either.
No, they really can't. I mean, this has been something that fans have been screaming for years now. There was a video that came out, I think it was either last year or 2 years ago, that a fan found himself sitting next to Rob Manfred's box, called for his attention. Manfred, all happy, thought he was going to say hello, and instead said, "End regional blackouts." And then Manfred's like, "Oh, God, come on, dude, really?" And just went back to watching the game that he was at. So this is something that people have been calling for years, and will go a very, very long way in helping the game out.
Well, it's interesting right now. They're doing like the NFL's going through the process of the litigation with, whether or not they have a monopoly on the TV market and all the raising prices and stuff like that. I mean, I get what these entities are doing, right? It's like they're trying to make as much money as possible. But if you continue to price out the majority of people that watch your broadcasts or watch your games in person, eventually they're just going to stop watching because they can't afford it. And then all of a sudden you have less popularity on your product. And what drives a lot of these, again, ad sales. It's kind of hard to do that when you don't have people watching. So hopefully Major League Baseball on this new CBA can eliminate the blackouts. But, imagine like doing this show in Iowa, Frank. There's 6 teams you'd never be able to watch unless you individually pay for each one of those teams because they claim that Iowa is part of their market. I mean, how do you grow the game in Iowa when you don't have a professional team there, yet 6 teams claim that they have Iowa as their market? It's ridiculous and out of touch at this point.
I know how. You build it and they will come.
Yeah, exactly. Well, they did build it and then they shut it down for a couple of years. And are they going back to that this year?
I don't know.
Field of Dreams game back this year?
I do not know.
Because I know they picked one not too long ago. I wonder if it's back this year. Oh, it is. It is back this year. It's the Twins and the Phillies. Because they did it for 1 year. Was it just 1 year? And
I think it was the Yankees. I think it was the Yankees and White Sox.
Yeah, I remember that.
They did it.
And then they redid the whole area and built into this complex. And during the construction, they had to go away from it. But I do find it funny. One of the many states that doesn't have a professional baseball team is unable to watch 6 of the 30 teams because of local blackouts.
Well, hey.
I remember that I remember that in the NFL. I'm glad. Do they even still have blackouts in the NFL? I don't know. Did they get rid of those? I don't know. I usually have red zone, and I don't have to worry about an NFL team here in town not selling enough tickets to get blacked out locally. That was the dumbest thing ever. Well, we want all our stadiums to be packed, so if you don't sell a certain amount of tickets, you can't watch the game. It's the dumbest thing ever.
That's the way it is, at least the way I remember it being said that it was in Italy with soccer for Serie A. They make all the tickets dirt cheap so people actually go to the games, and you have to buy the equivalent of MLB.TV or whatever if you wanted to actually watch the game on TV.
They made it more of a premium to watch it on television than
to actually go to the match.
Which honestly is not that bad of an idea. Because you want to have people go to your games, right?
Yeah, you want your building to be full.
And I'm going to be honest with you, in this day and age of watching sports, the premium of watching the sport is really at home, is it not? I mean, I have a great time going to games, and I think Padres games will be, but I'd much rather watch a lot of games at home. Maybe it's just when you get older, you just want to do that.
And I was talking about this to a friend who's not really all that into sports. You guys have pricing so backwards. You really, really do. Racing's got it right. The best seats aren't down low because you get blocked. There's sightline obstructions. There's all this other nonsense. Up top is where you want to be. So because you can see everything. Anytime I would go to a game, I would sit in section 300 right behind home plate. I saw the entire field, didn't have one sideline obstruction. Expensive tickets should be at the top, not the bottom.
I think people that are sitting in 300s right now are cursing you.
Well, as someone who did it, I'm just saying that's the way I always perceived it. It should have been the more expensive tickets should be at the top.
I like the 200s better. Slightly above, but not necessarily all the way up there. I think that's better. I think in baseball it's different. When you're close to the action,
seagulls weren't flying into me. It wasn't that high. It's not like the broadcast booths in Washington.
You still get to see the players relatively up close, right? I mean, that's why you go to the games, is to see these guys that you see on TV up close in person. You're like, oh my God, it's a real person. Because to get a TV, it doesn't do it justice sometimes. But for baseball, I feel like being close is cool. For football though, it's not, because you can't see anything. Mm-hmm. You can't see anything. All right. Speaking of football, that's not one of the sports we usually talk about on the show. And when we have a list of things that we don't talk about in the show, we have the sports thread for. Let's get to it.
Wow, nice segue. That was good.
That was nice.
You know that group chat, the one that's always blowing up with the biggest sports takes, debates, and breaking news?
You got barbecue back there, and you didn't invite me?
Yeah, we've got that too. Welcome to the Sports Thread, where we break down the top 5 stories in sports, just like you would with your crew.
Oh, no! Disaster! What a bad idea!
No filters, no silence, just real talk.
All right, Frank, what we got going on today on a Friday?
Let's start with the one sports story that we love just bringing back up.
Number one.
We love it.
Texas Tech.
The Red Raiders.
Is firmly standing behind quarterback Brendan Sorsby after a judge cleared him to play in 2026, despite NCAA sanctions we already know. School officials yesterday released a 22-minute effort post defending the program's integrity, detailing Sorsby's treatment for gambling addiction and safeguards in place as the NCAA appeals the ruling. The decision has drawn criticism from around the Big 12, with some schools reportedly discussing possible sanctions against Texas Tech. Texas's Attorney General yesterday filed a motion. And now today, Oklahoma's Attorney General has filed a motion basically trying to counter what the Texas AG did. This is getting insane. And I don't know about you, but if I've ever not been or felt guilty, I've never felt the need to put out an effort post explaining why I'm not guilty.
A 21-minute video with all the powers to be of Texas Tech, and they're like, oh, this is a big deal, and we're just helping this kid get. I hate how they made a mockery of addictions, because that is a serious issue. That is very much a serious issue that affects a lot of people, and the people that it has affected the most are the most irate about the fact that Texas Tech is pretending that they want to help Brendan Sorsby and his addiction in order to just get him on the field and play football. Like, if you really wanted to help this kid, I don't know, maybe you probably should just not have him play at all. Why? Because it was for, they say it's for his anxiety and stuff like that. And you know what? You know what probably would make that worse? Having him be a starting quarterback in college football, where everywhere he goes, he's just going to be attacked because of the fact that he gambled on sports. They got $5 million into this kid that they don't want to have to forfeit or get sued by Brendan Sorsby for not paying him the $5 million. And so they're stuck, and they continue to double down, triple down, quadruple down, and it's just making it worse for them. 21-minute video. TCU football trolled them on Twitter.
Yeah,
it was great.
I was just about to say
it was
TCU
so funny.
won the internet yesterday.
Some Oklahoma State account had a South Park version of it. It was hilarious. I don't know why they continue to do this. Their PR team is terrible. Everything about this is dumb. And they got to stop trying to play this like we're looking out for the kid BS, because it comes across as it's so gross. It's just so gross, and they're making things worse for themselves.
So this is we'll just
Number two.
They are. They're making it worse for themselves.
I agree. I'm more surprised. You want to know how you know the World Cup is big? They got Michael Bublé out of his hidey hole before Christmas to do a performance for before Team Canada's game today. That's impressive.
That is impressive.
Number three.
You think he's singing a Christmas song right now?
He might be.
Is he Canadian?
I believe he. I'm not sure. I really don't know. Free agent wide receiver Stephon Diggs has cleared another hurdle towards returning to the NFL as the league closed its review and found insufficient evidence of a personal conduct policy violation. The decision comes after Diggs was found not guilty in court on assault and strangulation charges stemming from a dispute with his former private chef. Released by the Patriots in March, the 7-time 1,000-yard receiver is now free to focus on finding his next team. With the legal case and the NFL review behind him, should teams view Stephon Diggs as one of the best remaining free agents, or will concerns of off-field activity still affect his market? He is Canadian.
I know, yes. I just looked that up. He is Canadian. No wonder he came out for the World Cup. Stephon Diggs, dude. He's always had baggage. I mean, at this point, yeah, like if he, if he was found innocent, then yeah, he should be available and Peter should pick him up. I don't think he should be a top pick for a lot of teams in terms of the NFL because he's getting up there in age and he's like slowly started to regret. As soon as he left Minnesota, dude, he hasn't been nearly the same. I mean, he's okay. He's not great.
No, I
wouldn't spend, but like I said before, I wouldn't spend top dollar on wide receivers. I just wouldn't, unless the guy's Calvin Johnson.
Number 4.
The Dodgers avoided a potential scare yesterday when two-way superstar Shohei Ohtani exited an 8-6 win over the Pirates with left knee inflammation. Manager Dave Roberts called the move precautionary and expressed optimism that Ohtani will be available tonight against the White Sox. I believe Robleski left the game last night too. So it's interesting. Neil Elitrage gets called out in the media. Now the Dodgers' top 2 players knocked out of injury.
Yeah, we haven't talked about the Neil Albatross thing at all, but like I will say this before people want to just say it's like the Dodgers are cheating. It's like a lot of players around Major League Baseball, including a lot of Padres, have used Neil Albatross. So
100%.
That is that. World Cup starts up. Padres. New lunchtime hour on the Fan. He's Frank Marchese. I'm Braden Surprenant. It's the Braden Surprenant Show. Setting his number one sports station, 97.3 The Fan. Do want to mention again, everybody that's a member of our channel on YouTube, you get select promo codes for our t-shirts. And if you're watching on the Braden Surprenant Show YouTube page, youtube.com/@B_SURP, subscribe if you haven't done so already. We do have a rotator on there that shows all of our, if you will, shirts that we have currently available. We're adding more a little bit later. There's a couple that we are going to add. We're going to have some brown and gold ones. We're going to have some blue and orange ones coming your way. Try to mix in some fun exclusive ones as well, limited edition also. But if you haven't done so already, you can go on our Shopify and where we have our t-shirts for sale. Super easy to do. They're actually in the description below as well. Click on any of those shirts and it'll pull up the page of where you can get the shirts. Again, they're very comfortable. The brown and the blue. We got the one with our graphic design on the back, if you will, as well. Super easy to do. And it sounds like I think a lot of our YouTube friends that have ordered the shirts get them pretty quickly. I do the orders. I get them sent out to you very, very quickly. I just got my guy David Vu his promo code because he is a member on the YouTube page. So with that, you get $10 off our one of our limited edition shirts that we have on there. Again, it cycles through on the YouTube page, if you will. As we're on in the bottom corner, that you just click on it, it'll lead you to our Shopify page, and you can help support the show. We appreciate that. I love when you guys rep. I met Fridge Watcher the other day. He was at the loft the other day wearing a Braden Surprenant Show shirt, which is awesome. So again, we have it on there. It's on Shopify. We're going to add more shirts. We have 3 right now. We have a brown and gold one. A brown and orange one. It looks like the 1980s Padres, or you know what, Clay in the South Bay. It does look like the Cleveland Browns too. You can look at it as a Cleveland Brown shirt. Then we have a what we call the La Jolla Gold edition on the blue and gold. Obviously you hear a lot of UCSD events on this station. So that's our kind of our UC system shirt, if you will, with the blue and gold colors also, if you want to do that. But we appreciate you guys for coming on and taking a look at our shirts and what we got on there. So again, it's super easy to order. I take care of it once the orders go through. I usually get those out to you very quickly, a very quick process. And we've already sent out a handful of shirts, so we appreciate you guys doing that. But again, if you want to go, you can search the Braden Surprenant Show or go to Shopify.com/the Braden Surprenant Show. I mean, that's kind of the easiest ways to get there. But again, we have the links on the YouTube page, and it's also linked in the description below. So we appreciate you guys doing that. Thanks again. If you haven't done so already, subscribe to the YouTube channel. And some of you have already done this. I didn't know you could do this, but thanks for doing it as well. You can subscribe to our Shopify page because on there, you can be updated when we have our new shirts and we post our limited edition stuff, so you can be the first to know. But again, only have like limited sizes and for a handful of things. So if you like one of the shirts, get on it now and get your new shirts. I got to order some new OTL shirts, so we're going to work on that with OTL right around the corner. Got some other ones on the way. So if you have ideas for shirts, love to hear it. Just try to get the brand out there as much as possible. So we really appreciate that. 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. Again, if you want to check out the shirts, do that. If you haven't done so already, give us a like on this video. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. We got a lot of extra content on YouTube as well. When we have time to talk about other things. You can follow me on social media at B_SURP. You can follow the show account at B_SURP show. If you want, a lot of people tweet at us during the games. We're here for it. So we appreciate the support, guys. And hopefully you find what you're looking for on there. And if not, DM me. You can easily DM me. I'm a very accessible on social media, DMs on Instagram and on Twitter, if you will. Again, at @B_SURP. All right, Frank. We are underway for the third game of the FIFA World Cup. It is game 1 of Group B. It is Canada and it is Bosnia-Herzegovina. Though that is the matchup, but we had some action yesterday. Let's get to our World Cup update, if you will, Frank, about the 2 games that happened yesterday. Do we have any music in the background? I can't remember if I saved some FIFA music.
We do not have any soccer music, unfortunately. Can you please call it by what it is meant to be called?
What is that?
It is the World Cup date, dude.
The World Cup what?
The World Cup date. Instead of World Cup update, it's the World Cup date.
Foul.
Why?
You still get a foul.
He draws the foul.
Because it's cheesy.
Oh, come on.
I don't dislike it, but it's cheesy. Come on.
Okay.
You get a foul for that.
And I took the foul, did I not?
No, you did. But you argued the foul, so here's your second foul.
He draws the foul.
See, James in Oceanside agrees. That was a foul.
James in Oceanside, whatever. Who cares? All right. So yesterday, opening match for the FIFA World Cup. We'll be a little bit more prepared for this next time. Julian Quinones scoring in the first 9 minutes of the match. Here is how it sounded on Fox yesterday.
Bros played against each other in the 1986 World Cup. Sitole was caught out there, and there's an early goal for the Mexicans. Quinones, big goal.
There you go. So that was that. That was Quinones' opening goal for the 2026 FIFA World Cup. Raul Jimenez would go on to score a little bit later on in the 67th minute, gave Mexico a 2-0 lead. South Africa got into some serious red card trouble. I'm going to butcher this name, and I'm going to spell his last name because as I spell it, you're going to realize why I'm not going to say it.
Yeah.
Cifello, Sithole.
That is so unfortunate.
Got a red card in the 49th minute. Themba Zwane also got a red card in the 84th minute. Those 2 players will be suspended for the next match for South Africa. Cesar Montes, the captain and one of the center backs for the Mexican national team, also got a red card. He got a red card in the 92nd minute of the match. So he will miss Mexico's match against South Korea coming up on Wednesday. Mexico taking control of the group. South Korea versus Czechia. More names.
Czechia.
Whatever. Them.
I figured out how to say that guy's last name.
Okay.
Sithole.
Okay.
Sithole.
I'm still not gonna.
Sififilo Sithole.
Sififilo Sithole. There you go.
He's the one that had the red card.
Yeah, he got the first red card.
There's a YouTube video on how to pronounce his name correctly.
That's fantastic. Again, more names. I'm going to butcher. Hwang In-beom.
Excuse me?
I believe.
Gesundheit.
For Korea, scored a game tire after Ladislav Krejci, again, a guess, scored the opening goal for Czechia in the 59th minute. In-beom scored in the 67th minute. Czechia almost scored.
You got it so ingrained in your head now that you're never not going to call it Czechia.
Exactly. Thought they had scored the 2-1 go-ahead goal. Instead, it was called back, and just a couple of minutes later, this happened.
We're going to see abundance of ability. Oh, what a lovely little ball that is. Oh, there it again!
And it's the substitutes.
Very descriptive there. Thank you very much for that. Oh Hyun Kyu. I'm again sorry. In the 80th minute, again, that call courtesy of Fox Sports on Twitter. South Korea netting the winner there 2-1. They take their win. Again, Mexico will play South Korea on Wednesday. South Africa versus Czechia.
Czechia.
It's Qatar, Qatar, same thing.
Czechia. It's just like the Czech Republic. They just put, instead of Republic, it's just Ia. It's just Czechia.
Qatar, Qatar, same thing. Those two will play each other on Wednesday. Today, only 2 matchups today. Group B will feature Canada versus Bosnia-Herzegovina. They are in the 9th minute, about to go into the 10th minute of their match. Still no score. And then later tonight, 6 p.m. on Fox, will be the United States versus Paraguay. That is a Group D matchup. All of the host nations get their game before everyone else. Starting tomorrow, it will be 4 games a day, at least through this group stage.
We are going to preview USA and Paraguay when we come back. That's our, what did you call it?
World Cup date. Because update starts with UP, Cup ends with UP. So World Cup date. I'm not taking a foul every time I say it. I'll take it the first time.
No, you already got the foul.
I'll take it the first time. I'm not taking it every time.
If you had to take a foul every time you try to pronounce some of these names, which are very difficult, you would, it's a quick way to get the day off.
Yes, it is.
I will say that.
I'm thankful there were no more goals scored.
We'll preview Team USA and Paraguay when we come back.
The Las Vegas Golden Knights lead the Carolina Hurricanes 2-1 at the time of recording, but Game 3 may go down as one of the wildest games that we've seen in years. Vegas built a 4-goal lead, then looked ready to cruise. Then Carolina exploded, 3 goals in just 39 seconds, the fastest 3 goals ever scored in a Stanley Cup Finals game. The Hurricanes tied it late and nearly completed a historical comeback. But in double overtime, Shea Theodore, former Anaheim Duck and former San Diego Gull, delivered the game winner, and Vegas escaped with a 5-4 victory. And let's talk about Mitch Marner. The former Toronto Maple Leaf recorded 4 points and the fastest hat trick in Stanley Cup Finals history. He's now 3 wins away from a Stanley Cup in his first season with the Vegas Golden Knights. If Marner leads Vegas to a championship, does that completely change the way hockey fans view his legacy? The Stanley Cup Finals is certainly living up to its expectation and then some. 3 games into the series at the time of recording, the Vegas Golden Knights hold a 2-1 lead over the Carolina Hurricanes. But this matchup has been anything but predictable. We've seen blown leads, overtime thrillers, historic performances, controversial challenges, and one of the wildest comebacks in Stanley Cup Finals history almost become a reality. If the first 3 games are any indication, hockey fans could be headed for an all-time classic in the final potential 4. So far, Vegas grabbed control of the series in Game 1. They entered the final as the underdog, despite being one of the NHL's elite teams all season long. 3 games later, they're exactly where they want to be. Vegas won Game 1 in Carolina 5-4 after overcoming an early 2-goal deficit, and then survived double overtime in Game 3 to take a crucial 2-1 series lead. History is now on their side. Teams that take a 2-1 lead in the Stanley Cup Final have gone on to win 80% of the Stanley Cup championships. That doesn't mean the series is over, but that does mean that Carolina's margin for error has become so much narrower. For Vegas, Mitch Marner has been absolutely unbelievable. If there is a Conn Smythe Trophy favorite right now, it is Mitch Marner. The former Toronto Maple Leaf has been spectacular throughout the postseason, and Game 3 may have been the defining performance of his career. Marner recorded 4 points and delivered the fastest hat trick in Stanley Cup Finals history. Just think about that. This is a player who spent years hearing criticism in Toronto about his playoff shortcomings. He is now dominating on hockey's biggest stage and is now 2 wins away from hoisting the Stanley Cup trophy in his first season with the Vegas Golden Knights. Another storyline here, the craziness of the games in this series, especially Game 3. Game 3 was chaos on Saturday night, sorry. Vegas looked like it had the game wrapped up, building a 4-goal lead. They scored 6 goals in the second period. The first 2 were taken off the board after challenges by Carolina. The next 4 stood. Then Carolina produced one of the greatest comebacks in NHL history, tying the game as Jordan Martinook, Taylor Hall, and Jordan Stahl scored 3 goals in just 39 seconds. The fastest 3 goals ever scored in a Stanley Cup final game. And all of them came within 10 minutes to go in the game. Andrei Svechnikov then tied the game late in regulation, stunning the Las Vegas crowd. The Hurricanes became the first team to even give themselves a chance after trailing by 4 goals in the third period of a Stanley Cup finals game. Ultimately, Vegas survived in double overtime when Shea Theodore found the back of the net, but the message was clear that Carolina was not going away. And while they were able to stay alive, they have a big problem right now. While Carolina deserves credit for its resilience, there's a concern growing larger every single game, and that is that the top line is not producing. Sebastian Aho, Seth Jarvis, and Andrei Svechnikov have struggled to generate consistent offense and have even strength. And throughout much of this postseason, Sebastian Aho also gave up a penalty shot opportunity to Mitch Marner, which was saved in that game 3. Coach Rod Brindamore has publicly acknowledged that the lineup changes are being considered. When you're facing a team as deep as Vegas, your stars really have to star, something I know we're very familiar with here in San Diego. If Carolina is going to come back in this series, then it starts with its stars taking control. Goaltending, also a factor. One of the biggest things.
$12:18, broadcasting live from the Bill House Studios. We know how. All of our guests join us on the SDCCU fan hotline. It's not Big Bank Banking. It's better. World Cup is underway. We just saw a guy trip over Shadow. That was crazy. He literally just tripped over the Shadow.
He tripped over the zipline Shadow.
Not great, Bob.
The zipline camera.
You know what? It's happens. You know, it happens.
Okay. Couple of bouncing ball in the box, and Canada just had a golden opportunity to go up 1-0, and Bosnia's keeper equal to the task. Defender didn't clear it for Bosnia, right to the foot of a Canadian player, right at the penalty spot, and right into the keeper's hands.
Thank you for that. Okay.
Well, you can't really just go ooh and ah as we found out with that that last clip and not explain what the heck happened.
You can't be doing that. Okay. So Canada and Bosnia-Herzegovina are scoreless in the 17th minute, about to get in the 18th minute of play. They're game 1 of 2 games today in the World Cup. Game 2 is Team USA and Paraguay. Let's get to the preview for Team USA and Paraguay today. Big one is that's the big one for a lot of people here in the United States. They kick off their home Wednesday. They kick off the home World Cup tonight against Paraguay at SoFi Stadium in Inglewood. Kickoff is at 6 p.m. Pacific time on Fox. This is the moment this generation of soccer players has been building towards since the co-hosting rights were awarded. Expanded 48-team format gives a bit more breathing room in group stage, starting strong with 3 points in Group D. Pretty massive for momentum and positioning. Here's your quick matchup basics for this one today. Team USA is ranked 15th in the FIFA rank. They're automatic qualifiers as a host, so they were in pot 1. For Paraguay, they are ranked 41st in the FIFA rankings. They qualified 6th in the CONMEBOL? How do you say that? CONMEBOL? CONMEBOL. They had 7 wins, 7 draws, 4 losses. Pot 3 side known for defensive grit, physicality, and dangerous transitions. It will be at SoFi Stadium expects a big home crowd energy, despite some ticket chatter, obviously. In terms of historical notes between these two countries, USA beat Paraguay 2-1 in a November friendly. They met way back in the 1930 World Cup too. USA won big there. Obviously, that doesn't really matter in this particular sense. But those are some of the quick matchup basics.
You sure there's no player lingering around from that squad there?
I think anybody remembers that. Many are calling for a United States win, something like a 2-0 or a 1-0, 2-1 victory. Expect the United States to control possession and use wingbacks plus Pulisic creativity to break down a deep-sitting Paraguay. Paraguay will frustrate with compactness. Look for counters for Paraguay from Almiron, Sanabria, or Diego Gomez. A clean sheet is possible, but not guaranteed for Team USA. Set pieces and transitions are danger zones tonight in the matchup. That's some of the quick facts for you. How are you viewing this game tonight between Team USA and Paraguay?
It's going to be good. It's going to be one of those matches where Team USA really has to be on their guard because Paraguay is very good. They are not a team to be taken lightly by any stretch of the imagination. They are one of the better teams in the world. Not up on that top upper echelon, but they are a team that is going to be. They're a team that has to be reckoned with. You have to take them seriously. Otherwise, they will absolutely bite you. So it's going to be a very, very close match tonight. I think whoever scores the first goal is most likely going to win it. And I would agree it's that 2-0, 2-1 final, I think is going to be more or less what it ends up being.
Are you worried about the fact that Team USA has not announced the goalkeeper yet?
I believe they've announced Freeze was going to be the goalkeeper. Have they not?
I've seen the back and forth of them. They were like rotating both. Bosnia-Herzegovina is on the board.
Oh, well, there you go.
1-0 in the 21st minute. We'll give you an update on how that goal's happened. I literally just looked up and then they were going nuts and there was a ball in the back of the net. So there you go.
I was looking for the U.S. roster, so I didn't see it either. I've heard that Matt Freese is going to be the guy. Matt Turner, I believe, is the other one. He's going to be the set piece. Just set piece, very, very close to the goal line, flicked on by the Bosnia player up at the front and just slightly redirected center of the net, past beyond the goalkeeper. So Bosnia-Herzegovina scoring on a corner kick in the 19th.
They have not officially announced Matt Freese as the goalie, but he is the presumed starting goalkeeper for Team USA.
And that would be Matt Freese, 27 years old. Matt Turner's 31. He's the only other guy other than Christian Roldan that are over the age of 30. Roldan is also 31. Tim Ream is also he's 38. He's the senior on the team. But yeah, I've seen that all signs are pointing towards Freese. All predictions that we're seeing on television from all these analysts are leaning towards Freese. So it's a little bit concerning, but I'm not all of that worried either way.
I'm not that worried either. So it's you'll, as old ball coach McCoy would say, you'll know who's starting in goal when he runs out there for the first time.
Exactly right.
That's all you need to know at this point.
Hayden Stone, yes, we have talked about. Hayden Stone in the chat, yes, we have discussed Bryce Johnson's DFA already.
And we're going to get to more Padres talk in a little bit. But all right, odd snapshot as of today. Going into today, U.S. favored around -105, -110 to win. A draw is +220 to +245. Paraguay +300, +320 to potentially win. Roughly 50 to 55% chance for Team USA, but it's tighter than people think against a solid South American side. If the United States wins, it will be because, Frank?
They scored first.
Okay.
I don't, whoever, if it does come down to, I think whoever scores first will eventually get a 2-goal lead. So if it ends up being 2-1, it'll be because the U.S. scored twice and Paraguay got a consolation goal.
If Team USA turn possession into quality chances, clinical finishing, and set-piece execution, also Paraguay is forced into a low block and can't spring effective counters, is what ESPN said are the keys to the game for Team USA. In terms of a draw, Paraguay parks the bus effectively. I mean, that's the other thing, too. I mean, I think you're going to see a lot more of that, I would imagine, in the World Cup with how heightened all these games are, Frank, where, there might be some underdogs that park the bus, which definitely is frustrating for any attack.
100%. Yeah, this is where if you get a lead, you're going to try at all costs to be able to keep it. With the importance of these games and with how this tournament works and how it's laid out. If an underdog gets a lead, they are going to commit men back, try to just hold and sub out strikers for defensive players to try to be able to conserve that lead. More or less, Friday is going to be your day for the United States. U.S. is slated as the home team tonight against Paraguay. They are going to be slated as the home team next Friday when they play Australia. That'll be a noon kickoff next Friday, and then they will play Turkey on Thursday the 25th. They will be the away team for that. It'll be a 7 p.m. kick.
Projected lineups, USA expected to go to the 4-2-3-1, very common for Team USA. Paraguay is supposed to counter with a 4-4-2 or similar. And imagine a very defensive setup with emphasis on the compactness for Paraguay tonight.
Which, for those of you who don't know, a 4-2-3-1, it's the way it's, for those of you who don't know soccer, that's their formation going from defense first. So it's 4 defensemen, 2 defensive midfielders, 3 midfielders, and 1 striker or 1 forward up front. For the 4-4-2 for that Paraguay is expected to use tonight, 4 defenders, 4 mid, 2 forward.
And as you mentioned before, they'll play Australia on June 19th in Seattle. They'll play Turkey on June 25th back in Los Angeles. But the bottom line for this game tonight is a winnable game that sets the tone. A strong start on home soil could spark the whole tournament run for this team. Paraguay's no pushover either. They're tough. They're organized. They're a very proud group, but the Team USA has a lot of talent. They have depth, and they have the crowd behind them. I would expect a lot of energy in tonight's match, some nerves early, but hopefully the Stars and Stripes find a way through tonight, and it'll be fun to talk about coming up on Monday. There are 13 reasons why Team USA is going to win the World Cup. ESPN highlighted it. We're going to go a little buy or sell with Frank Marchese this time to see if he agrees with these 13 facts when we come back. We also need a contestant for a Midday Sports Standoff. 833-288-0973. 833-288-0973. We'll do that when we come back on the Braden Surprenant Show. Standing as number one sports station 97 to the Fan. Looking for a contestant for a midday sports standoff? If you could take me down in some sports trivia, you'd be qualified for a chance to win our grand prize, a 2-night stay at Town & Country Resort, and a $250 food and beverage credit. Work on your resting vacation face this summer at Town & Country Resort. 3 pools and a 4-story water slide named Twister make Town & Country a family favorite. Rates start at $199 per night exclusively for fan listeners. Visit towncountry.com/fan to book now. 833-288-0973. 833-288-0973. We are going to get to that in just a second. So if you haven't done so already, give us a call. Try to win today's contest. Try to qualify for a chance to go to Town & Country Resorts. Today's one is a little bit, the Friday, we have a little bit more fun on the Friday contest, if you will. Not just sports. We like to mix in some other things. But, all right, Frank. So, ESPN.com put together a very humorous, tongue-in-cheek, statistical article arguing the historical patterns and curses in World Cup history to make the U.S. national team a destined winner of the 2026 World Cup. Let's get to the key reasons. Okay? Uh-oh. It's basically a game of elimination. You're going to tell me whether or not you're going to buy or sell this. Okay. Key reason number 1. The number 1 FIFA team has never won the FIFA World Cup.
Which this year would be Spain.
It's not Argentina?
No.
Oh, ESPN had Argentina on there. Are you sure those haven't been updated?
It might have been from all the stuff that I've seen. Spain is number 1.
All right. Well, that eliminates Spain then. I mean, let me pull up the article real quick.
Let me bring up FIFA rankings really quick.
Here it is. Okay, so number 1 is the number 1 FIFA ranked team has never won the World Cup. So that eliminates Argentina, it says.
Oh, yeah. Argentina is number 1.
They were
Spain
third a week ago.
Okay.
So you were on it from last time. Okay, reason number 2. Are you buying this so far? Do you think the number 1 team will win the cup?
It's been a long time since someone's won it back to back. So, yeah, I would believe that.
Reason number 2, why Team USA will win this year's FIFA World Cup, according to ESPN.com. The reigning Ballon d'Or winner has never won the World Cup.
Ballon d'Or, for those of you who do not know, is the best player in the world.
That was a French national this year.
I would assume that would have been. Oh, it was
Ousmane Dembele.
Oh, yeah, Dembele, yes.
Yeah, Dembele won it. He plays for France. You can eliminate France. Yes? Or do you think France is going to win?
I think France has a good shot. I think they have a potential to be in the Final Four, but I don't know if they'll win.
Key reason number 3 why Team USA will win the FIFA World Cup. A debutante has never won. So a nation that has never made it has also never won, the ones that have just made it. So that eliminates Cape Verde, that eliminates Curacao, Jordan, Uzbekistan. Reason number 4 why Team USA will win the FIFA World Cup. No playoff team has ever won.
So a team that couldn't qualify out of their region outright and had to play one of those games, which I believe eliminates Bosnia-Herzegovina.
Correct. That also eliminates Qatar, Saudi Arabia, Sweden, Turkey, Czechia, Congo, and Iraq.
I would buy that, yes.
Okay, moving on to reason number 5. While Team USA will win the FIFA World Cup as we start eliminating countries. No manager has ever won both the Premier League and the World Cup.
Juan, who's Arsenal's manager?
I think they're talking about Mauricio Pochettino.
Oh, Pochettino?
Yes,
no, Pochettino is
Coach Paint. He coached Paris Saint-Germain to a Liga 1 title in France, but his stints in the Premier League were trophyless.
Oh! So
not
you're saying that
Pochettino?
So because of that, Pochettino,
correct,
can't
because the fact that he won a Premier League championship in his career, he will not win.
So he is
with
not
Brazil.
Okay.
So Brazil has been eliminated.
Okay,
buying it. Still on board so far.
Sure.
No manager in his 60s or older has ever won the World Cup.
Who are they knocking out?
That eliminates Scotland, South Africa, Austria, Colombia, Netherlands, Spain, Iran, Uruguay, Algeria, Mexico, Paraguay, Belgium, Ghana. We're getting closer.
Spain is a little iffy. Mexico can make a run, but I don't think they're winning. Who else are like the big nations in there?
Netherlands.
I don't think they're good enough.
Scotland. I don't think they're good enough
Scotland. No, the Netherlands are ranked number 8.
Reason number 7 why Team USA will win the FIFA World Cup. The only first-time trophy winner since 1966 was a host nation.
England won it in 66.
That eliminates Croatia, Norway, Switzerland, Ecuador, Haiti, Panama.
Croatia's fallen off. Their golden era has started to fall off. So I would take Croatia out of there.
Well, these are teams that are all.
Well, no, I'm just saying that would have been the one team out of that group that could have done it, but they're falling by the wayside. So no, I would agree with that.
England has never won an international tournament outside of England.
It's coming home. It's coming home.
Though it once was home, it has never actually come home. England arrives to the World Cup as a heavy favorite, but history tells us the United States has nothing to worry about here because England has never brought the championship home.
England comes in at number 4 in the world, by the way.
Reason number 9 why Team USA will win the FIFA World Cup. No team ranked worse than 18th in the FIFA rankings has ever won the World Cup. That eliminates New Zealand, Egypt, Ivory Coast, Canada, South Korea, Australia, and Tunisia.
All teams that never had a shot to begin with. So,
reason number 10 why Team USA will win the FIFA World Cup. No player over the age of 40 has ever won the World Cup.
Which this is where you eliminate what the odds-on favorite is, which is Cristiano Ronaldo in Portugal.
He turned 41 in February.
This is where you eliminate them.
Reason number 11 why Team USA will win the FIFA World Cup. Every World Cup winner since 1982 has employed at least one player from one of these top teams. Bayern Munich, AC Milan, Inter Milan, or Liverpool. The 5 past champions has employed all of those teams. Guess who the United States has?
Who do they have?
AC Milan's Christian Pulisic. So that eliminates...
employed meaning they're playing for them. Okay.
Yes, they play for those teams. So that eliminates Senegal and Morocco, which I don't think we're going to win anyway.
Morocco's number 7. They were in the final 4, I think, in the last one. So don't sleep on Morocco, but I don't think they're gonna win.
Reason number 12 why Team USA will win this year's FIFA World Cup. A team that has been eliminated from the group stages in 2 consecutive World Cups has never won the next World Cup.
Okay.
That eliminates Germany.
Germany is falling off.
Their
golden era is gone now. So they've needed to retool.
So now it comes down to 2 teams left.
So our final is what? The U.S. versus Belgium?
Japan. Those are the 2 teams left.
No,
and reason number 13.
I do not want to hear reason number 13. I don't want to hear reason number 13.
Across the past, get your head out of the gutter. Across the past 10 World Cups, no team has won without someone who has scored at least 17 international goals on the roster.
Okay.
Heading into this summer, Japan's leading scorer, Asai Ueda, 16 career goals, just under the mark they need. Pulisic, meanwhile, has scored 33. That is why Team USA is the only country that clears every hurdle of a FIFA World Cup champion. Therefore, they're going to win.
My official pick, the World Cup champion is coming out of Iberia. Whether it be Spain or Portugal, I'm not sure yet, but I believe it'll be one of those 2.
All right. We'll see how Nostradamus Frank does. in his World Cup prediction.
Nostradamus.
Nostradamus.
Yeah, there you go. Something like that.
With just a single nation able to clear all 13 hurdles, according to ESPN.com, this rigorous process of objectively selected historical factors leaves us with only one potential outcome. The United States is going to win the 2026 World Cup.
There you go.
There you go. That was all for fun. I wouldn't actually make your Kalshi trades with that information.
Now do Cape Verde. Go.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, good luck, ESPN.com. I thought that was a fun little article, though. All right, let's get to today's Midday Sports Standoff.
Welcome to Midday Sports Standoff on the Braden Surprenant Show.
I can't believe what I'm seeing right now.
The ultimate head-to-head battle where sports knowledge and quick thinking collide.
No, it's no good. Are you kidding me?
Contestants will go toe-to-toe with Braden in a sports trivia deal where every correct answer brings them closer to victory.
Down the sideline! Wow! Unbelievable!
But 3 strikes and it's game over.
This is not Detroit, man. This is the Super Bowl.
Can you outsmart Braden? The Midday Sports Standoff starts now.
All right, Frank, who we got playing today?
We have friend of the show, Jamie and San Ysidro, playing today. Jamie, how you doing, bud?
How we doing, fellas?
Good. So as Braden alluded to, we have our Friday fun day as far as these this trivia goes. Today, we're going to look at what's not so good for you. Statistically, the 10 worst foods that you can possibly have.
Oh, man.
This does include food and drink. I will say that.
It includes food and drink?
But yes.
Okay.
Jamie, you have the first guess.
Oh, my dear Lord. That's 10 worst food. I'm going to say bacon?
Bacon is in the processed meats category, including hot dogs and other stuff like that. That is number 2.
Sugar.
I'm going to need a little bit more specific than that. But
baked goods,
sugar.
Baked goods, donuts, pastries. Yes, that will be number 5 on the list.
What was bacon again?
Bacon was bacon was in processed meats, so that's number 2.
Okay, so I would have to think like a Coke, like any
sodas.
Soda.
Soda and energy drinks is number 1, and I'll save you the hell. That's the only drink on there.
Okay.
So like coffee, it's not on there.
What about deep fried foods?
French fries are number 3. Fried, yes. French fries, fried food, yes.
And that was my next guess. I'd have to think that you eat McDonald's every day. That can't be healthy. So fast food burgers, or
it's the worst.
Oh, that's a foul.
That's happened before.
He draws the foul.
Fast food burgers, yes. Fast food burgers are number 7 on the list.
Okay. How many we have? 5 of these things?
We have,
then?
yes.
It's hard because it's so vague. You're like,
it's more food. It's more food groups. Oh, if you say the specific thing, I can try to decipher the food group.
I don't know, like fatty foods.
That would go under processed meats, more or less.
There's a lot of other things too.
No,
I stuff with saturated fat, seed oils.
No, that
seed
would not
oils
be.
is like one of the worst things you could process.
No, okay.
It's a very vague category.
It is. It is. I'm noticed. Well, these are more specific. Some of these are more specific.
He's already complaining, Frank, because he's losing.
I'm just saying, it doesn't make any sense.
This happens every time I play.
Go ahead, Jamie.
Now, luckily, I'm not healthy, so my doctor told me what not to eat. And anything bleached, like white bread or stuff like that.
White bread is number 4
White bread
on the list. Yes.
What about ketchup?
No, that's not on the list.
That's not specific enough. I mean, that's not on the specific one.
You eat these almost every single day. One of them is a dinner, one of them is a breakfast, but the other two you can eat almost every single day. Jamie?
Jeebers. That's making my life harder.
Yeah, that didn't make things easier.
Like, would it count like chips? Like, chips would be the
Jamie, congratulations. That is number 5. That is number 6. That is your 5th answer correct. So you've at least guaranteed yourself a tie. Potato chips was number 6.
There's so many things that are so bad for you to eat. Okay.
It's funny. We had one of these last night.
We had one of these things last night?
No, me and my family. We had one of these last night.
Well, we already said like baked goods.
All right. Well,
he already won. So
yeah, Jamie's already qualified.
What else is on this?
One of them is a dessert.
Oh, wait.
Oh, you've already qualified.
You already won. So doesn't matter now.
Yeah. One of them is a dessert, a frozen dinner, and then something you can have for breakfast. It's not like eggs or
like a
bacon or
like a Pop-Tart.
That would go under pastry, more or less.
A breakfast that you can't eat.
Mm-hmm.
Already said bacon. Cereal. Cereal's bad for you.
Sugary cereal, yes.
You said a dessert.
Jamie. Oh, all right. Well, Jamie's already on hold. So he's on hold. So
you said a dessert with like pie.
No.
A dessert. Ice cream.
Yes.
Number 1.
That's not number 1. Ice cream is on the list. That would have been number 8. And then a frozen Italian dinner. What Italian dinner?
A frozen Italian dinner?
In quotes.
A frozen Italian dinner.
I am a snob for these places.
Oh, pizza?
Yes, frozen pizza.
Frozen pizza.
So soda and energy drinks was number 1. Processed meats like bacon, hot dogs, etc. were number 2. French fries 3. White bread 4. Donuts and pastries number 5. Potato chips 6. Fast food burgers 7. Ice cream 8. Sugary cereals 9. Frozen pizza 10.
There's like food groups and then specific foods.
It was a little bit of a mix.
Hey, here's all the pastries that are bad for you, and then it's like French fries. Yeah, it's a little. That got really difficult very quickly. It's like there's so many things that are bad for you. Try to like it's like condiments or like a specific condiment.
I'll tell you what's not bad for anyone. Have you seen that Twitter account, Freddie, going around for the World Cup? The German guy who came over for the World Cup.
Yeah, there's a lot of those guys right now. There's a lot of those. Like there's a Scottish one that just discovered what a chicken fried steak was.
The guy's Twitter handle is FreddieLA7. He discovered Buc-ee's a couple of days ago. He was thrilled to death about that. Went to the Argentina game where they played in Auburn's football stadium. Said it was wild.
Between the hedges.
Yes. San Diego FC has officially invited him to be a special guest for one of these San Diego FC matches after the World Cup has ended.
That's cool.
So that is quite awesome and a very good play there for San Diego FC.
How about this? Did you see this go down? Some Clemson football player just got granted a temporary injunction against the NCAA on Friday.
I did see that. I didn't see what it was for,
He's
though. He's
eligible now. Here's what it says. Especially where NIL earnings are tied directly to participation. In the instant case, if Mr. Smith is prohibited from participating in upcoming college football season at Clemson, Mr. Smith would lose personal development, experience, and professional prospects. As the district court found in the most recent decision issued on June 8, 2026, in a matter of Sorsby versus NCAA, the irreparable harm includes, but is not limited to, benefits from the coaching staff, trainers, and being a member of a Division I college, and being able to make an informed decision as to whether to enter the 2026 NFL supplemental draft. So because Sorsby's getting an injunction, he's getting an injunction for something that's completely different. I would imagine now this is open the can of worms where every player that is ruled ineligible can get an injunction to have it determined for the following season.
I hate college football so much.
It's so dumb. Padres baseball come back.
Hey, it's Gravy, and if little things
1 o'clock on a Friday, broadcasting live from the Bill House Studios. We know how. We got a lot to get to today. Coming up in the next hour, Samad Taylor will be joining Gwen and Chris today as part of the Friar Friday coverage. We played AJ Preller from earlier this morning. After that, I will have the EcoWater SoCal Padres pregame show coming up at 3:05 p.m. Pacific time. Padres and Orioles, the beginning of a 3-game series. Hey, Birdland.
Hey, Birdland.
There it is. You think they're going to continue to call that guy on the pregame show the name that they called him, or do you think that was a one-off?
I think that was a one-off.
This is why, Frank, you can't have a 3-hour pregame show. He did in the first 15 minutes.
I mean, it's not even the 3-hour.
They're not even into the 3 hour.
Show.
That, by the way, hasn't even started yet because that starts at 3 o'clock.
They did a 2-hour pregame show for Canada, Bosnia, Herzegovina, and now they're doing more during the halftime break for the match, and then they're going to do another 3 hours.
They're going to talk more about the game than the game actually plays.
By 3 times at this point.
Team USA will play later on tonight at 6 o'clock. West Virginia's got a 5-4 lead on Troy, bottom of the 5th inning, threatening to score more runs in the College World Series. That has officially gotten underway today. We're going to talk more Padres baseball in just a second. But we do have to say we got ourselves a lineup. Okay. What do we got, Frank?
Oh, we're going to me for this? All right. Leading off at second base, Fernando Tatis Jr. Batting second in center, Jackson Merrill. Batting third at third, Manny Machado. Batting fourth, the man who's almost guaranteed to hit a home run tonight, Xander Bogaerts. Batting fifth in right, Gavin Sheets. Batting sixth in left, Samad Taylor. I was about to say Tyrod Taylor, sorry.
Tyrod Taylor's playing baseball now?
Yeah, and Samad's also much better than Tyrod is. Batting seventh at first base, Ty France. Batting eighth, designated hitter, Will Wagner. Batting ninth, doing the catching, Freddie Fermin, with Griffin Canning on the mound tonight.
Sheets is in right. That's pretty interesting.
He is.
Has he ever made a start in right before?
But
not this year. Can't think of it. I can't think of a time off the top of my head.
Yeah, so
they love Fernando at second. I'm not opposed to it. We've had a lot of people just like, this team would be better if Fernando was in right. I mean, the team can't hit. Is that him going to right field is going to make it better? He actually hits better when he's at second.
Man's an infielder.
That's right. Guy hits better when he's in the infield. Let's take a look here. Gavin Sheets on his splits.
From friend of the show, Giannis Anigatapoodle over there. Sheets has played 1,543 innings logged in right field, but hasn't played there since 2004. Minus 25 defensive runs saved and minus 17 FRV.
FRV. What is that?
I don't know.
FRV stat in baseball. That's some fielding thing. Fielding run value. That's what it is. StatCast metric.
Minus 17.
Is that good, Bob?
You know what? I've kind of learned that any number with a minus in front of it, not all that good.
Not great unless you're playing golf.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Why did they just put Taylor in right? Like Sheets play in left field. Can Samad Taylor not play right field?
Because Taylor's in left.
Well, why can't you put him in right?
Because he's in left.
And put Sheets in left.
You can't have the man play two different spots. He's in left.
You have Sheets play left, and then Samad can play right. You can't do that. That is allowed. That is part of the rules. It's a bandbox of a place anyway. Does it really matter who's out there in right field? Ball goes over the fence a lot.
P. Clay, it's 2024. My bad. I have.
Hey man, he's an old. Sheets is an old vet.
I have dyslexia. My bad.
Anyway.
Dyslexics of the world, untie.
Foul.
That was one of the better fouls I'll take.
He draws the foul.
Such a foul. All right. ESPN.com, David Schoenfield wrote a piece on whether or not guys are going to continue to be disappointments or snap out of it. We're going to turn it into a buy or sell. 2026 MLB disappointments. Fire it up, the baseball music.
All righty, let's get this road back on the show here. We're more than a third of the way through the 2026 season, and a lot of big stars are struggling. First up, Vladimir Guerrero Jr., hitting 282 with a good on-base percentage, but only has 3 home runs and a 365 slugging percentage. He's in a long homerless drought and looks more like a singles hitter now, so buy or sell. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. is no longer a slugger.
I'm selling that. He's still hitting 282 with a 375 on base percentage. He's got elite contact and plate discipline. Ground ball rate, pull rate, launch angle near career norms. Strikeouts actually down slightly. I think he's going to be able to bounce back from this. He also, at the same time, he has a history of power droughts. He had a 21-game homerless streak before 30 home runs in 2024. He had a slow 2024 start before exploding. It's in his prime age, ridiculous raw power. I think this is more of a slump, not a new normal. I would expect a big second half out of Vlad Guerrero Jr.
Going more to the Toronto Blue Jays as a whole, the Blue Jays lineup has fallen off a cliff. They have not seen San Diego recently. Their runs per game dropped from 4.93 last year, just 4.07 this year. Oh, no. And their power is way down across the board with Guerrero and Springer and others scuffling. Buy or sell, the Toronto Blue Jays lineup is a major issue this season.
I'm going to buy that. Their runs per game has dropped from 4.93 to 4.07. Multiple key contributors are scuffling. George Springer's getting up there in age. Role players are regressing. They have injuries. And even with some regression to the mean and returns, like Alejandro Kirk, projections sit right around the league average. It may not be enough in a competitive American League. Team-wide power loss looks very sticky. I kind of buy. The Blue Jays lineup was in it, but you know what? When right before the Padres played the Blue Jays last year, it sounded like they hit rock bottom, and guess what they did? They went to the World Series. So who knows? But I haven't seen the Blue Jays really put on a power display. The lineup is kind of an issue.
Got to be seeing them soon. Last series before the All-Star break too. They'll be here. Moving over to the Boston Red Sox, so stay in the American League East. The Red Sox are really scuffling on offense. They're averaging just 3.9 runs per game, second worst in baseball, and have been terrible at Fenway Park. They've got a lifeless lineup and are on pace for one of their worst seasons in decades. Buy or sell the Red Sox. Chat, are the Red Sox cooked?
I think the Red Sox are cooked.
Red Sox are cooked, chat.
They're averaging just 3.9 runs a game, the second worst in Major League Baseball, behind the Padres. Ugh. Brutal home woes. They're 10-21 at Fenway Park this year. Can you believe that?
No,
10-21 at Fenway Park this year.
That's ridiculous.
That is ridiculous. 3.29 runs per game. Fenway Park's not a pitcher's friendly ballpark either. Major lack of right-handed power. They have injuries to the top projected players, and they have underperformance across the board. 409 winning percentage pace, historically bad. Rotation has been decent for the Red Sox, but the offense looks lifeless, and a playoff path is narrow in the American League. I also think that, you don't really want to make too much of a excuse for the Padres playing at Petco Park. I know it's a pitcher-friendly ballpark, but you have no excuse if you're the Red Sox. That's a place where people rake. That's where teams rake at. You're 10-21 at Fenway and are scoring 3.29 runs per game. Red Sox are cooked.
Moving over to the National League now, staying in the East. The Mets had one of the worst off seasons. Had one of the worst off seasons. I thought it said offenses. There's the dyslexia kicking in again.
Well, they do have one of those too, but carry on.
That you will ever see. They whiffed on replacing Pete Alonso. The Freddie Peralta trade has not worked. Luis Robert is injured and ineffective. Bo Bichette is struggling, and several other big moves have completely backfired. They're 29-38 and have not and haven't even played the Braves or Phillies much yet this season. If the Red Sox are cooked, chat, are the Mets cremated?
Oh, they're charred. They are charred for sure. The New York Mets are definitely really cooked. I buy that. I mean, their offseason now into season has produced some disastrous results. The Alonso replacement failed. Peralta's mediocre.
That's another.
Luis Robert Jr.
That's a great sign that the Alonso replacement has failed. You don't even know his name. It was Jorge Polanco.
Yeah.
Well, who is the new Jed Lowry.
Well, he's been hurt, hasn't he?
He's played 4 games.
Correct. So it's not just Polanco. It's whoever else has played first base. It's failed.
No. Jed Lowry was a signing like 10 years ago. He was signed a 2-year contract and played like 3 games for the Mets in those 2 years. Stole money.
Luis Robert Jr., injured, ineffective. Bo Bichette has struggled badly. Polanco has barely played, as you mentioned. Shaky closer at Williams. Trevor Semien trade regret. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. How is David Stearns employed?
I have no idea.
By the way, like you mentioned, they're 29-38. They haven't even faced the Braves or the Phillies that much. Schedule might get really tough for the Mets. But you know what? They have Juan Soto. That's cool, right?
You see, you say that until you see one of the tweets I saw today. Today is the 2-year anniversary of Grimace throwing out the first pitch.
Is he throwing out the first pitch today?
I do not know.
He should.
2 years ago today, Grimace threw out the first pitch at Citi Field. After that pitch, the Mets, who were 28-37, went 61-36 to close out the regular season and advance to the NLCS for the first time since 2015. On this day last year, however, Pete Alonso made a bad throw to first and injured Kodai Senga. The Mets went 39-55 after that. So June 12th has been very fun for the Mets in their history. Moving on.
Not enough for you to crash out, though.
Nope.
Multiple high-profile moves all flaming out for the Mets.
Yeah. Yep.
Let's get to the
bringing
Padres.
it back local here. Manny Machado. Manny is off to a brutal start. His average is down around 170. He's blaming analytics, and his bat speed has dropped significantly at age 33. For reasons we explained earlier in the show. Ground ball luck is killing him too. Buy or sell, Manny Machado is no longer an elite hitter.
I'm going to sell that because, like, the bat speed, we talked about the swing speed. A lot of it has to do with the fact that he's making contact further, like more, like closer to his body, right? Like the pitches are getting deeper on him, which means he's not generating enough bat speed where he's making contact. A lot of bat speed is contact based. Manny Machado is 2 mile an hour less on his swing speed than he has been in his career. And that leads to, as we mentioned before, an extra 15 feet on the ball when he squares it up. But he doesn't square it up. Like, contact is a massive factor for bat speed. So if he's 2 mile an hour less than what he normally is, well, a lot of that has to do with the contact point, where if he's making contact out in front, he probably has that a little bit closer to his average norms. He still has power too. I mean, he does have 11 home runs despite hitting poorly. And I think with him trying to play out of the adjustments he made in the offseason, I think he's going to show that he can still hit at the big league level, at an elite level. I don't think this is a massive age problem right now for Manny. So I'm going to sell this.
I would agree with that as well. Last one, Fernando. Has just 2 home runs on this season. The last one, impressive. And is hitting a ton of ground balls with low launch angle. He's looked more like a singles hitter than the power hitter threat that we know this season. buy or sell, Fernando has turned into a singles hitter.
I sell that strongly.
I would as well.
I know he's only got a couple of home runs, but elite hard hit rate. I know like fans don't like me saying that, but he's in the 91st percentile. Massive raw power is still there. Ground ball rate is high, and the pull fly ball launch angle is way down. Obviously, fixable mechanics and approach issues, which I think he's starting to come out of. I mean, recent signs of life: a 451-foot home run, 113.5 mile an hour double. He had a walk-off home run in the last game. The power isn't gone. The mechanics are there. And the Padres are 35 and 32, despite him and Machado and Merrill all struggling. Offense has nowhere to go but up, and Tatis will be a monster again soon, I think. And it might start as early as today. Did you see this? Do you know anything about, when I was in college, TC went to the College World Series 4 straight years. College World Series is going on right now. Do you know, what are the big places out there? And their standings they do for Jello shots. Have you heard about this?
No.
It's a place called Rocco's. Rocco's makes Jello shots, and they have a standings for all the teams. And when you go in there and you order Jello shots, you get points for your team, kind of deal. And it's a big thing. Pat McAfee's out there.
Oh God.
Because West Virginia's there, right?
Yeah, and also because ESPN just sends him anywhere.
Well, I mean, but he probably wanted to watch his alma mater. He's wearing all West Virginia stuff.
It's understandable, yes. It's not like him calling the NBA Finals game the other night.
There's 90 seconds from his show today where he explains the whole. He went to Rocco's, and they treated him and West Virginia. They didn't know who Pat McAfee was, which is fine. He's not upset about that. But essentially, they've gotten so big on this on social media that they kind of stiffed them and West Virginia. And so he was complaining about how it's they don't make their own Jello shots anymore. They buy them, they pre-make them and do all this other stuff. But here's where it was. It was he was willing to he wanted to write a big check of Jello shots to buy them to improve the thing.
Yeah.
And you know what the guy at Rocco said? Your check would bounce. There's no way, they wouldn't cash in. No, because he had no idea who Pat McAfee was. So they basically don't accept his money because they don't think he's good for it. They're saying his check would bounce. And it's I'm sorry, you don't understand. This guy's about to get paid $60 million a year for doing a show. And it's he said that it was very much you're lucky to be giving us this money instead of a celebration kind of thing. And so he just honestly talks about this place. What a colossal screw up yesterday by Rocco's in Omaha, Nebraska.
Wow.
This guy was going to write basically a blank check to your bar to try to pass, to buy a championship when it comes to the Jello shots. And instead, you stiff the guy and say your check would bounce in an arrogant way. So you don't get the money. And now he complains about the Jello shots on national television.
Good job, Rocco's.
Nice job.
You done goofed.
Nice job.
See, this is what happens when you think you're bigger than you are. You get smacked down once, and then all of that good grace that you had is now gone. Way to go. To say to his face that the check would bounce, that is unbelievable.
I think your check will bounce.
That is unbelievably rude.
Is unbelievably terrible. And people are just ripping Rocco's now. I mean, come on. I mean, he just inked a $60 million deal. It just, they were getting online orders for this too. People with fan bases would buy the Jello shots, and not, they would just buy just to try to the competition sets in. It was a great business idea. Oh man. People in the comments are just roasting that Rocco's place.
Good.
Rocco's might need an ego check. I got to hear this clip. I mean, oh man.
I'll find it during the break.
Somebody said, you know what one of the comments was? Rocco's made a Texas Tech level error last night. Oof.
Yeah, no kidding.
Maybe we'll get to that when we come back. If not, we are also going to dive into Padres baseball. where the Padres could go at the trade deadline. We'll talk about that when we come back. What's up, guys? It's Braden Surprenant. The world's biggest soccer tournament has arrived. You can trade the entire tournament on Kalshi. On Kalshi, you can trade every match from the opening stage all the way to the final. If you're like me, today is one of those days where the World Cup takes over. Around Southern California, there are going to be plenty of eyes on the tournament, with matches being played right up the freeway in LA. And tonight, it's all about Team USA. United States takes the field tonight against Paraguay. Right now, the United States is trading at 47% to win the match, meaning a $100 trade pays out about $213. 126 on a Friday. We get ready for Padres baseball here coming up. We're going to get, we had Rod in the YouTube chat ask about where you get some NASCAR guys on next week. Oh, buddy. Was Frank, as soon as Frank found out we were hosting NASCAR, he was already wearing them out with emails.
Mm-hmm.
We got a nice set list next week.
Yes,
Can we announce these set lists yet? Or
I mean, there was no embargo on it. They didn't say, "Oh, don't say this until he's on."
Yeah, we have a good locked-in schedule for next week of scheduled guests for NASCAR.
Again, these are subject to change. These are NASCAR
Always
drivers.
happens.
They are very busy. There is a chance that these might not happen at the time that we are saying, or they may not happen at all based on last-second scheduling changes. So as of this moment, at noon on Monday, we will have reigning, defending, and two-time NASCAR Cup Series champion Kyle Larson on the show on Monday at noon. On Tuesday, we will have former crew chief for Jeff Gordon and Dale Earnhardt Jr. and current Amazon Prime Video analyst Steve Letarte on. And we have confirmation to a degree. Haven't gotten an email back to lock down a date or time yet, but we will have Daniel Suarez on the show as well from Monterrey, Mexico. So local guy. He will be on the show at some point next week. We're not sure when or what time yet. So
that's a nice list right there.
Kyle Larson from Hendrick Motorsports, Steve Letarte from Prime Video, and Daniel Suarez from Spire. He will be on the show. Those guys will be on the show next week.
Kyle Larson was just on a popular podcast the other day.
Yes,
and I think he said like he loves Legos, or he used to love Legos or something like that.
I believe he's a big, him and William Byron, huge Lego guy.
Yeah, huge Legos guys, which is interesting. Like, because, they are with these, I think it was William Byron's got. William Byron is the one, he drives the 24 now.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay, he's got Gordon's car now, and he was the one that was the iRacer before he got into NASCAR.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so William Byron loves Legos, and the other thing he likes to do in his spare time is golf. And his favorite driver growing up was Jimmy Johnson. That guy's built for San Diego.
Oh yeah,
that guy could go hang out at Granite. go hang out where Jimmy Johnson grew up. Drive down Jimmy Johnson, was it Boulevard or something like that?
So, yeah.
Out in El Cajon, he could go play some golf with Tori, and then he'd go to Legoland with his kids.
Yeah, exactly right.
He could just he's going to try to finish these races this weekend in Pocono as fast as possible to get out to San Diego as quickly as possible.
Yeah. So next week is going to be a lot of fun. We're going to be doing a bunch of social media stuff from the races all weekend long. I will be all over your social media feeds all weekend long. From the racetrack this weekend, I'll do two videos on iRacing. Kind of like a one would be kind of like just a slow go around and a hot lap of the racetrack, pointing out all the different points and like kind of what to watch for during the race. And then I'll do like an AI race around the racetrack, so you guys will get to see what racing around that track could look like as well.
Let's we listened to the Pat McAfee talk about the Rocco's thing. There's a couple curse words in there, so we can't play it, which is interesting because things are on ESPN now. But based on what he said, it was like, imagine telling Pat McAfee no to a check. And the thing when I went through it, it was like, so at Rocco's, you buy the $5 shot, whatever like that, the Jello shot. He didn't know how it worked, and they were disgruntled. Rocco's was disgruntled that they showed up with a big group for West Virginia.
No, from what he said was they were invited out there, and apparently the general manager, without really knowing who he was, invited him out there, I don't know whether he said to call ahead of time that they were coming or implied to call ahead in time. They did not call ahead because, Pat McAfee. And after that, again, seemed kind of annoyed that they didn't call in ahead of time. And again, without really knowing who he was, just kind of shut down the fact that McAfee was writing more or less a blank check.
Right. I mean, right now, West Virginia has 490. Ole Miss has 1,437. A lot of them are call-in buys.
Yeah.
Where they basically just collect the money and don't give the shot out because they don't just give them random people. I don't know. It just sounded like it was kind of a crazy little story there with the deal. But he said how does this work? I brought checks. Because one guy wrote a $300,000 check to him a couple years ago to take the lead, some rich guy. And he was like, I have checks. They're like, no, credit card. And he was like, well, how did that guy get a $300,000 bill? Because no credit card has a limit that high. And he said, he wrote a check. It's like, hello, I have the checks. He just said the vibe there was super rough, too. Speaking of West Virginia and their vibe, they're now tied at 5. Troy hit a solo shot. So, anyway, I found that to be interesting. As somebody likes college baseball, I'm not overly shocked that thing might have gotten too big now with the shots. I can't believe you've never even seen that before.
And apparently, Rocco's, from what I was seeing just before we got back, Rocco's made a rebuttal video. We've had a...
Oh, no. Sprinklers went back on.
Yeah, there's your World Cup update right there, your World Cup date. The sprinklers have fired in the 72nd minute.
In Toronto.
In Toronto.
Yeah, man, they got to play on a wet surface. It's getting hot over there. Anyway, what was the rebuttal video?
I don't know.
They're just trying to save face now, right?
I had just started to...
Were there 4 guys sitting at a table telling us how they're...
it was
how Brendan Sorsby should be allowed to play?
It was 2 dude bros.
Oh,
so God. I don't know. It was a 2-minute video. I don't know. We'll watch that during this break.
Now they're doing damage control. When we come back,
from what the tweet says about it, I don't think they're doing any damage control. If the tweet has anything to do with the video, it looks like they're doing damage expansion, honestly.
Our guy Jake Northrup in the chat, Tennessee alumni, who went out there for the Tennessee, says Rocco's shots are all Jello, no alcohol. Uh-oh. Do you you don't drink, but have you ever... The concept of a Jello shot, I know, you know what I've been seeing? Have you seen this? At Snapdragon Stadium, you see these travel ball teams that are selling Jello shots to people for to send us to Cooperstown or something like that. Have you seen those?
No, I have not.
Those guys are all over the place, in the parking lots. It's they're walking around with their families and their coaches. They're trying to fundraise to go to whatever, the Steamboat, Colorado, or all these travel ball teams. They're like, buy our Jello shots. I've never found the appeal of a Jello shot. I really haven't.
I never found the appeal of drinking. So,
okay, well, that's a separate thing, which is fine.
No, I know.
But the Jello shot. I mean, I just feel like I'm just eating Jello at that point.
Yeah, like McAfee said, it's a very interesting feeling. It's a very interesting sensation, eating alcohol.
Chewing alcohol. It's also a pain in the ass to get out of that little plastic shot glass. It's not even a glass. It's just, plastic cup. Anyway, let's get to the trade deadline. Dennis Lynn wrote an article about the Padres and what they could potentially do at the trade deadline, where they're going to target things. We'll get to that to finish up the show. 141 on a Friday. Final segment of the Braden Surprenant Show. San Diego's Urban Sports Station, 97.3, The Fan. The Jell-O shots. I had somebody text me, go like, you use your pinky to eat them, like, or to consume the Jell-O shots. Not a big Jell-O shot guy. They're kind of fun for, like, every once in a while, but how often are you getting Jell-O shots? Do you guys make, people make Jell-O shots? I know you're not the expert on this one. So.
No. Definitely not.
Definitely not. All right, we got Canada has tied it. All tied up at 1 in the 81st minute. Team USA will play at 6 o'clock tonight in Los Angeles for the World Cup. That will be the second of 2 World Cup games today. We also have a tie game in Omaha, 5-5, top of the 8th inning. Troy is threatening to try to take a lead first game of the College World Series. We have Padres baseball coming up at 3:05. Now, a couple of things from Dennis Lin this week. He wrote about the trade deadline for the San Diego Padres, in which they're in a precarious spot because they're mired in an ugly offensive slump with their window potentially closing faster than expected due to declining production from expensive veteran stars. Yet, despite the poor play, they remain competitive in the wild card race and are likely to buy at the deadline under A.J. Preller, though questions loom about the core's future, coaching, and new ownership. Now, we could talk about the offensive disaster that they have had. We could talk about the current standings. We could talk about the star struggles, coaching pressure. But A.J. Preller's approach, historically aggressive at deadlines, even with limited resources, may take on payroll this year. Ethan Salas is likely untouchable, according to this report, but lower prospects could be moved. A.J. Preller prefers to buy, but poor performance may limit the impact. Obviously, you have some uncertainty with the ownership situation. $3.9 billion sale to Jose Feliciano and Kwanzaa Jones. They're still awaiting MLB owners' vote, which is expected this summer. Payroll's about $209 million. Luxury tax near $260 million. Since the post-sale announcement, the Padres are 14-19. No guaranteed core rebounds in 2027. Possible labor issues. Preller is trying to prove he can balance contention and farm rebuilding at the same time. The question that came up a couple of times was, is the Padres championship window already closing? I mean, if you're going to be a team that competes every year, that's what the goal was of Peter Seidler. As long as you're being what does your window being opened mean, Frank? Does that mean if you're competing for a playoff spot, your window of contention is open, or is it in terms of the only chance they have is to win with this core? Is it impossible for this team to be competitive at the end of Manny Machado and Xander Bogaerts' career? What is the definition of contention window?
For me, it's getting at least to the divisional series. For me personally, at least, I want to at least, if you're in your competitive window, you're at least making it through one round of the playoffs, through the wild card round, and getting to the divisional series.
I don't think this window is closing because I look at a lot of teams in Major League Baseball, and I think AJ Cassaville talked about this well yesterday at the roundtable. You could criticize AJ Preller all you want for the moves that he makes, and he's made a lot of good moves. He's made a lot of bad moves. But you know what he does? He actually makes the moves where a lot of teams fail to do so because they don't want to take the chance or think it's a bad move. And to me, I think the way that AJ Preller has made moves and actually pulled the trigger on moves continues to keep this team's window of opportunity open.
Agree.
Because, like, what's the championship window like for Baltimore today? Let's talk about Baltimore because it's to me it makes a lot of sense. Like, what's their championship window? Is it open right now? Would you consider like Baltimore's window open? I mean, they got a lot of young players, but if they never add to it and they just let these guys die on the vine, does it really matter? What's Baltimore's championship window? And before people start going like, I only care about the Padres. Well, I'm just using this for context, right? What's their championship window look like? They're a team that's young. They're a team that's got a lot of prospects. They're a team that fails to add to their core. Sure, they're in contention right now, right? To an extent, but their record's not very good. And they've been now kind of mediocre the last couple of years. They got a brand new manager this year. To me, I don't think the window for the Padres is starting to close. I think it's open. I don't think it's wide open. But I need to know a definition of window of opportunity, your championship window. Is that strictly just this team is expected to win a World Series going into the season? Or does that mean as long as you're in contention for a championship, your window is open? I think it's the latter. I think it's as long as you're competing in the playoffs, your championship window is open because anything can happen in Major League Baseball's playoffs. I understand that Manny Machado needs to get going. I understand that Fernando needs to hit for a higher OPS. I understand that Jackson Merrill needs to hit a lot better. I mean, there's a lot of problems with this team, but there's no perfect team in Major League Baseball. And with the playoffs set up like they are, you don't need to be a perfect team to make the playoffs. You need to get in the dance, and then you need to get hot. I mean, that's what everybody does in Major League Baseball. That's why it's so hard to repeat as a champion, because baseball has so many different factors involved. I mean, Milwaukee every year continues to let veterans lead. They trade away top players, and maybe they haven't gotten over the hump and they've never won a World Series. But like with the way Milwaukee's played the last 5, 6, 7 years, Frank, would you consider their window closing? It's not like they're adding anybody.
No.
Sure, maybe they got some young players, but they change their roster all the time. Atlanta's finally back to being really good again. Did their window close and now it's like going back open? I mean, they got guys under long-term deals with injuries, everything like that. I find the window closing is a pessimistic way to say like, oh, it's time to panic and trade everybody off. Until the Padres start playing consistent under 500 baseball in terms of like year in and year out, they're under 500 for like maybe more than 1 year. I think it's hard for me to say that the window is closing for this team just because a couple of their stars struggled out of the gate. Look, I know they're 8 games out of a division lead, but everybody knew going into the season it was going to be hard to win the division. They are in a wild card spot. I don't think that's necessarily something to be super stoked about or satisfactory about. But as long as they're competing, isn't that what it is? I mean, you could say that about a lot of GMs. I think there's a lot of people that just hate AJ Preller because they haven't won a championship yet. He keeps this team entertaining. I'll tell you that. They've gone to the playoffs 3 of the last 4 years. This is the most in Padres history they have been competitive for a stretch of time. They've never done this in their history. In fact, before this ownership group took over, even before like 2020, this was the worst team in all of baseball historically in terms of their overall record. So you can't sit there and be like, he's the problem when he is also the reason why they have won a lot of games. I don't have a problem with AJ. I really don't. I think he makes a lot of big, risky moves. Those aren't always going to pan out. Would you rather have a general manager that makes moves like this or a general manager that sits on his hands and goes like, oh, we'll see, I guess? You judge an organization based on how many times they're making the playoffs and how they do in the playoffs. You can't do it just based on World Series because 29 teams lose every single year. You start looking at all the other GMs in Major League Baseball. He's bringing in talent. And by the way, how about this, Frank? despite the good and the bad moves that he has made, because everybody's going to make those, I think it's a feather in the cap of A.J. Preller seeing all of these former Padres all over Major League Baseball and contributing. You want to know why? That means you got a guy that's picking the right players, right? It's not like everybody they trade away becomes a dud, and you're like, oh, maybe this guy, maybe this is all smoke and mirrors. I mean, I think you got to give the guy credit about finding talent. There's a lot of Padres talent out there that are doing a really good job.
There's definitely an way to look at it.
I think it's a positive way to look at it. I mean, here's my biggest pet peeve on the whole, like, going back on trades. Like, oh, we could have this guy, we could have that guy. You're never going to have the perfect roster of guys you've shipped off because there's too many of them that have been used to make trades for the other players. We could have had C.J. Abrams and James Wood. Yeah, but you wouldn't have Randy Vasquez and you wouldn't have Michael King. And Johnny Brito, when he comes up, probably he's not here either. Then who's pitching? I mean, for all of the moves that have worked out for the Padres, yeah, there's got to be some bad ones mixed in there too. But overall, if your team's buying at the deadline, your team is doing things well. And anybody that really wishes to go back to the 2010s where they're trading away great players and just selling a hope and a prayer that these prospects might eventually turn into those guys, that's not a good place to be in. They're selling that dream in Baltimore. They're selling that dream in Pittsburgh. They're selling that dream in Cincinnati. They're selling that dream in Miami. They're selling that dream in Washington. And what are those teams doing? Nothing. You can say everything you want about how the Rays have done things well and how the Brewers have done things well and how these other teams that are small market teams that are, getting the prospects that they need. And you know what those teams have in common, Frank?
No World Series.
They don't win the World Series. So you want to win a World Series, you not. Padres have made the playoffs 3 of the last 4 years. They've never done that in their history. I do think there needs to be some context every once in a while. We don't have too much time. Bold prediction for this weekend. Xander Bogaerts hits a home run. He might hit 2. Did I steal yours?
Yeah, Bogart. Yeah, you did. You kind of did. He's
Manny Machado goes deep in Baltimore. You can take the Xander Bogaerts one.
Padres sweep.
Wow, Padres sweep. That's going to be a fun Birdland to play on Monday's show. He's Frank Marchese. I'm Braden Surprenant signing off. I'll talk to you guys in an hour for the Equal Water SoCal Padres pregame show. San Diego Sports Station 97.3 The Fan.